Savers yesterday. And Victor Hovland has won the Travelers. So an abrupt conclusion when it looked like Shepard was going to nail another must-have putt. Not this time. And Hovland has the Travelers title.
Now the pitch, there's the swing. That's a high fly ball into right field again. DeLuca at the fence, and it's off the top of his glove, and it ricochets away. Carroll rounding second. He is into third, and Corbin Carroll with the one-out triple.
Might have been the easiest triple that Corbin's ever hit.
The first of many milestones to fall for Corbin Carroll in the history of the Diamondbacks. He is the all-time franchise leader with triples. That his 53rd. He has run for the record.
And that is the weekend montage. Good afternoon and welcome in. Roc and Manuch with you today from Wright Toyota as we are here till 4 o'clock. And we are coming to you from our studio here at Wright Toyota. And yesterday, the Suns traded Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, and an unprotected 2033 first-round pick to the Charlotte Hornets for Miles Bridges, a future first-round pick, and a second-rounder. On paper, you can see exactly why they did it. They finally have a legitimate power forward. They got younger. They got more athletic. They added another guy who can score 17 a night. They got bigger, tougher, and they saved about $20 million in luxury tax while creating more roster flexibility into free agency. That's the basketball side of this. But that's only half the story, because the other half is what makes this trade so polarizing, and that's the word that guys at 98.7 are talking about. So everyone's using that word, polarizing, as the Suns gave up two of their best three-point shooters. They attached an unprotected first-round pick 7 years into the future, and they acquired a player whose off-court history will make a lot of fans very uncomfortable, and understandably so. That isn't something you can ignore. It's part of evaluating this trade, and it's part of our conversation today. So here's our question. Did the Suns actually get better, or did they simply get different? Does Miles Bridges move this team from a play-in contender into a top 6 team in the Western Conference? Or are we watching Matt Ishbia make yet another all-in move because standing still simply isn't his DNA? We're going to debate it all today. We have Suns radio analyst Tim Kempton. He's going to join us. You want to hear from him. He'll join us in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Meanwhile, across town, the Diamondbacks continue heading in the wrong direction. They were swept in Tampa, scored just 4 runs in 3 games. They've now lost 6 of 8 and now sit under 500. Are we getting closer to Mike Hazen becoming a seller at the trade deadline? We'll have Barry Bloom, who can answer those questions a little bit later. We're also going to discuss the sad news today about Chris Johnson, former Cardinals running back. He revealed that he is battling ALS. We got the latest on the World Cup. We'll have Frank Sanders join us as well. So it's a busy Monday, a controversial trade, plenty to debate. So let's get started.
You know, Roc, I like the Bridges trade. I mean, at first I went, well, okay. He's 17 points per game, big guy. What do you average? About 5 to 6 rebounds per game. And this is the one thing I think a lot of us bemoan, the fact of they need more size down low, more commitment to defense, which he's very good in reference to going both ways. You mentioned the 17 points per game. He'll rebound. He'll stick the nose in there. And I think with him and Dillon Brooks as the 2 forwards, really kind of legitimate, makes it more legitimate. You got 2 guys that can score, 2 guys that are big, 2 guys that can go down and rebound and help Mark Williams out. So you look at the lineup. You look at Dillon Brooks. You look at Brooks. You look at Bridges. You got Mark Williams down low. You got Jalen Green and Devin Booker. I would certainly hope that with the addition of Bridges and with the addition of these guys going into their second year under Jordan Ott, that they'd be able to not only move the needle, but get into the playoff 6, to move into it, get beyond the first round, even going into the second round. And I think that's one of the things I really look at. And the other thing we forgot to mention is the Michigan State grad on top of everything.
Okay.
So the whole thing in reference to his history, his 1-year suspension because of the domestic abuse, child abuse, domestic abuse. I mean, that's pretty glaring when you take a look at it. Now. He sat out a year. It's been 4 years since that has happened. So I would only hope that those issues are behind him. He said he was in therapy. He said he's become a good citizen. He's not had any hiccups since then. So that's the one thing I guess. Hey, we all have our baggage, right?
Oh, but it's
Yeah. I mean, but
all right, a DUI is one thing.
yeah, I get it.
But domestic violence, hitting
Well, sure.
somebody and a kid, and I don't know the specifics. I don't care about the specifics, but this is unavoidable.
Well, I know
you can't talk about Bridges without it.
I get it.
And it's why a lot of fans hate this trade.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, we look at a lot of situations like that, and you go, okay,
There aren't many situations like that.
Well, but
dude.
as he's
domestic violence.
Okay, has he served his time? Has he gone in for therapy? Has he gone in for help? Has he gone in with the issues that he had at task? I mean, you can look at a lot of guys that are addicted. A lot of guys have had physical violence before. There are many guys.
But
Pro
injuring
football-
the parent of your child, and along with child abuse, counts.
I get it, right?
I mean, 3 years probation, suspended, as you said. I know no jail time, but man, I don't know, man. I don't know why you even go down that road.
Well, and I think that
I don't know why you go down that road.
Well, I will say this.
I mean, I'm all about giving people chances, and that's why I'm okay with the trade. But unfortunately, this is going to be this goes along with it.
Well,
wherever he goes,
it will all exactly, Rock. It's like so many guys that are addicted, so many guys that move forward, men and women that play pro sports, and they go, okay, I had a cocaine problem, had a PED problem. Look at Brett Favre. Look at the addiction he had. He cleaned up, didn't have that addiction moving forward.
But dude,
I mean,
drugs opposed to hitting your wife.
I get it, right?
Kids. I mean, that's not the same level.
No, I know, but I mean,
How can you make a case for it at the same level?
I'm talking about issues that surround a person's life.
It has to do with the issue, what the issue was.
Hey, I understand. Right? I'm one of the biggest guys to say, look,
I know. That's why I'm surprised you're.
The only thing is I look at is, okay, he's been clean, he's been sober. Has he been admitting to whatever testing, whatever you got to check in, whatever he's got to do after these domestic abuse charges? Is he adhering to what he had to do, the 3-year probation? Is he staying on top of all that stuff? I mean, it's almost as if, hey, okay, so if he erupts and has another issue, I mean, I can't liken it to addiction, but addictions and issues are concerned. So you got to move on, give a guy, a woman, a second chance, and I get that, but you got to move on, and you got to hopefully trust that this guy doesn't do it again.
All right, okay, so that's just part of this, okay? The other part of this, you just gave up your 2 best 3-point shooters in a league that all they do is shoot threes. And Allen and O'Neal was like 41%, I think. He's one of the elite shooters, and I think when you take away those 2 3-point guys, that's going to hurt this team quite a bit.
I had heartburn with Royce and with Grayson Allen.
I mean,
I really did.
College Gillespie, and that's it. But what's he, 30?
Gillespie's 28, 29. Yeah,
right.
Somewhere in there. 6 years in the league.
I mean, Suns are more athletic, but did they make the floor smaller?
Well,
I don't know. I didn't like the trade. I don't like the trade.
Yeah, I
think a lot of people don't. You like it. You just said you did.
I like the points, the rebounding aside. Well, here's the thing. We had Kellen Olson on last week, Empire of the Sun, and he had mentioned, because we talked about, okay, are there any more moves left? He said, well, the viable people to move for a solid veteran would probably be Grayson Allen. He mentioned Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal. Royce O'Neal's not so much, but Grayson Allen has been off injured the last 2 years.
Yeah.
He's really struggled to stay on the court. He wasn't even available the last 2 or 3 weeks when they needed him the most. He tried to come back, just couldn't go. Royce O'Neal was very inconsistent last year.
But when he was in there,
when he was on, he was on.
I think that this feels like the Suns are trying to convince themselves that they fixed the problem because they added a name. Bridges is a name, okay? But he doesn't solve the shooting issues they've had, the defensive issues, the leadership, maybe the culture with his background, and they give up a first-round pick.
Well, that first-round pick's not until 2033, Rob.
I'll be here before you know it.
I mean, those first-rounders, I mean, if it's a lower first round, hey, whether they pan out or not, I didn't have any heartburn with the picks whatsoever. A second-rounder, a first-rounder, because those are down the road, and you don't know what you're going to get. Now, I think the only thing that they satisfied was the veteranship, the size. He's a good shooter, not a great three-point shooter. He's averaging 17 per game. And I think those are
on a much improved Charlotte team last year.
Yes.
Which is good.
If he was he and Ball kind of
Yeah.
led the charge
Clean house.
for that Charlotte team. I guess I'm surprised that they would give up, that being Charlotte, would make that kind of move because of how well they did.
They have another move coming.
Well, I'm sure
Charlotte
they
has
do.
another move coming. Yeah, I think they're just cleaning house and then they're going to make a big move.
Yeah, I don't have the only thing.
Jimmy was texting yesterday. He thinks it's Jaylen Brown. They're going to make a run at Jaylen Brown.
It could very well
And
could.
if that's the case, they got some players to move. So maybe we'll see both those guys in a Boston, Celtics uniform.
I think this will be, I think, more consistency. The guys remain fairly healthy over the years, if there's anything. He's been healthy. He's been pretty solid on both ends of the court. And you can say all you want about the draft choices. For me, that's neither here nor there. I think this is a right now situation for the Suns.
For what it's worth, the national grades lean one way. Charlotte won. Phoenix overpaid. The consensus is the Hornets turned about $6 million in extra salary into an unprotected first and 2 useful vets, while the Suns landed a name that they've wanted for years, but they mortgaged more of an already thin future. They don't have much of a future. So if they're going to win now and they believe in Green and Booker and if Jordan Knott is the right guy to lead this team, then and hopefully Bridges can buy in, and then maybe we'll look back and say, hey, this was a great move.
Well, I think Matt Ishbia looked at the roster and said, look, how are we going to be able to move up into the 6 with this current team? He probably went, probably not. Can you really rely on Grayson Allen? Royce O'Neal, okay, he was in and out of the lineup, good shooter, but who can they get that's a solid 15 to 17, solid on both sides of the court, and can move this team forward? I think that, giving 2 guys up, I have a little heartburn with Grayson Allen. Royce O'Neal, not really, but I think this is a guy that can hopefully move them forward.
Carroll's making history. The offense is ice cold, and the Rays just swept the D-backs. We'll break it all down, plus the World Cup ending you have to hear. Don't go anywhere. It's a replay rewind next, right here on Roc Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN Radio Phoenix. We're on FM at 98.7 HD-2 and on the Arizona Sports app.
The biggest soccer tournament on the planet is going on, and there's no better place to catch every match than Twin Peaks. Watch all the action on wall-to-wall TVs with ice-cold 29-degree draft beer, made from scratch food, and game day specials all tournament long. Twin Peaks is going unmatched for every match through July 19th. Cheer on Team USA or your favorite country at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. $5 locations.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Attorney Kevin Rowe. Getting rear-ended once is bad enough. Don't let the insurance company hit you again with a lowball offer. Call an experienced attorney who knows how to fight and win. Call Lerner and Rowe today. 977-1900.
Life can throw a lot your way. For some, that includes first episode psychosis, or FEP. It can feel overwhelming, like hearing or seeing things that aren't there, or feeling disconnected from reality. The good news? FEP can be treated. Recovery can include medication, therapy, and support from peers. There are programs across Arizona with people who understand and are ready to walk with you. It all starts with one click. Visit learnmorefep.org. Sponsored by MapForce, working to build healthier communities.
When driving in Arizona, move over or slow down for any flashing lights. Move over for tow truck drivers, highway crews, and emergency responders. Move over for any vehicle with its hazards flashing. Because at 65 miles per hour, a vehicle travels over 95 feet in 1 second. 1 second that could change everything. When you move over for anyone, you're not just doing it for them, you're doing it for their families. Their lives are flashing before your eyes. Move over, Arizona. Every vehicle, every time. It's the law. Please visit moveoveraz.org. This message is brought to you by ADOT and this station.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Each week, at least one child dies from heat stroke after being left alone in a car. Often these incidents are not a matter of neglect, but even the most responsible, loving parents are liable to forget a child in the car due to sleep deprivation, stress, or a change in routine, which can lead to fatal results. As temperatures continue to soar, take steps to ensure a child is never forgotten in a hot car. Learn more today by visiting carsforkids.org/hotcars. Remember, that's cars with a K.
Now it's time for our replay rewind. The top sounds of the night and whatever Roc decides to add. Let's get to it in replay rewind with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and on FM at 98.7 HD-2. Martinez is 3-2 pitch. Swung on that, is hit well out to deep right field. DeLuca going back. He is looking up, and Perdomo got all of that one. It's a solo home run, his fifth, and the D-backs take a 1-0 lead.
We'll get to a replay rewind here in a moment. You know how you always bring up the story of O.J. Simpson in jail wishing you a happy birthday?
Yes.
Right?
Remember that?
Well, I keep getting Lee Steinberg.
We've had Leon several times.
A couple times, but he's wished me on LinkedIn in 2019, 2020, and then just about 10 minutes ago. I'm like, thanks, Lee.
Yeah.
Need to get you back on our show.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, matter of fact, he's got the new book out, so I'm going to track him down.
Well, I got, friends on LinkedIn.
Yeah, look at you, Roc, with the rubbing elbows.
Rubbing
with
elbows
the
on
top
birthday.
agents ever.
Oh, man, yeah. He is. Think about it.
He is.
I mean, you think about that great movie.
Oh, it's totally supposedly patterned after his life as an agent.
Tom Cruise.
Well, think of all the great players he's represented over the years. And talk about a guy that's overcome addiction. There's a guy right there that overcame addiction for many, many years and has been sober, like 15, 20 years now. And he writes about that many, many times. So happy birthday, Roc.
Thank
from
you,
Lee Steinberg.
Appreciate that. All right, let's start with one of the bright spots from the weekend. Corbin Carroll keeps putting himself in the D-backs record book. And on Friday in Tampa, he ripped another triple. His 53rd career triple, which moved him into sole position of the most triples in franchise history.
Now the pitch, there's the swing. That's a high fly ball into right field again. DeLuca at the fence, and it's off the top of his glove, and it ricochets away. Carroll rounding second. He is into third, and Corbin Carroll with the one-out triple.
Might have been the easiest triple that Corbin's ever hit.
The first of many milestones to fall for Corbin Carroll in the history of the Diamondbacks. He is the all-time franchise leader with triples. That his 53rd. He has run for the record.
It's fun to watch him run.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Will he be in the All-Star game?
Oh, I certainly hope so. I voted for him this morning, as a matter of fact.
Again, more votes.
I mean, hey, D-back fans,
Get on it.
Get on it big time.
All right, it didn't take long for things to unravel in Tampa after Arizona grabbed an early lead. Then the Rays answered in a big way.
And his 2-2 pitch. Swung on that is barreled. Center field and deep. Going back is Troy. Warning track wall. All wrong. 3-run blast. Rays take a 3-1 lead.
Junior Caminero?
Caminero.
It's 3-run shot there. If there's another guy doing everything he can, we're talking about Corbin Carroll, it's Ketel Marte. He went deep Saturday, then he came right back and did it again on Sunday.
Swung on that is drilled out towards center field. Long run for Mullins going back. He is looking up. That is gone. Home run for Marte. It's his 14th of the year, and it's just a 2-run ball game. It's now 4-2. 1-2. Swung on. He's not playing deep enough. This is back and right up against the fence. It is gone. Home run for Ketel. That's his 15th, and the D-backs are on the board. It's 5-1.
Tell you what, he gets his money's worth when he hits home runs. I mean, that one there, that deep center field was probably 420, straightaway center, and then one before that right-handed, he probably clubbed that one, I'm going to say 405, 410. he and Corbin Carroll pretty much the offense Perdomo periodically. But you looked at this, we talked about the top half. We talked about the bottom half last week, Rock. This bottom half, the order, just this 3-game series, they were 4 for 49, the bottom half of the order. 4 for 49, 2 for 18 in yesterday's game yesterday. So they've got to find something at the bottom half of the order to set these guys up at the top.
Here's Torey Lovello admitting it was a frustrating road trip.
These are grinding times. This group is working hard, and not getting the results they want. I know probably adds a little bit to the frustration. We're all frustrated in here. We want to win baseball games. We come to the baseball field every single day with great intentions. The Rays are a good team. You got to hand it to them. They got probably one of the best players in both leagues in Junior Caminero. But that's no reason for us to do what we did today and the past 2 days. We got to play better baseball.
Well, you got a guy giving up home runs. You give up 3. Kelly, Zach Gallen's just struggling big time. Cabrera, he held serve until they gave 3 bunts in a row in that 6th inning on Saturday. That was interesting to see that. And they almost had a suicide, what we call a safety squeeze. I mean, oh my gosh, they're like showing off right now that they can. But hey, they're first place in the American League East.
Reason
that kid, that team is fun to watch the way they move the ball around.
Torey was also asked about where his team is right now during this rough stretch.
Yeah, we got beat, and our guys were feeling that. I think they're frustrated. So you're right. You're down there in the dugout, and we try to say things to inspire them, and we try to push them, and nobody's going to make it better until we make it better.
You're interesting. Listening to the post-game show in Candiotti and even on the broadcast last night, watching that, is just the selection of pitches, the discipline at the plate, trying to get a rally going in the 9th inning and swinging at the first strike instead of taking a strike. I mean, some things that are basic, but they said, I could tell this team's getting impatient because they're frustrating. So they're all trying to do probably more than they can do as far as, swinging at, pitches out of the zone, or just trying to make contact, or just get a runner on base, just move them along. So those things are really starting to compound, and I think that's part of the problems when you have a lot of young guys on the lower end or guys that are struggling on the bottom end.
All right, and then this is why I think a lot of people love the World Cup. I mean, some call it the greatest sporting event on the planet, and Brazil looked headed for extra time, and look, they needed extra time, and this is what happened today.
Tanaka's given the ball away there. Bruno Guimaraes. Oh, and here's a chance. Martinelli. Brazil have won it. They've stolen it. Right in the depth. Brazil are going through.
Yeah, Brazil came within seconds of one of the biggest shocks in World Cup history. And the guy, Martinelli, I believe is how you say it.
Martinelli.
He scored 5 minutes in the stoppage time to seal the 2-1 win over Japan and Houston. And for Japan, for the 5th straight World Cup, they can't get past the first knockout. And they outplayed Brazil for the first half, led at the break, only to collapse after halftime. But, man, wouldn't that have been something?
That would have been something. I mean,
that would have messed up everybody's bracket.
When Japan was up 1-0, they showed Japan, which is like, I was 3 a.m. Place was going nuts. Oh. They were going absolutely nuts. And I'm like, wait a second. Brazil get upset, tie it up, and I guess it was injury time that they added to it to get that extra time for Martinelli to get that last goal. But, yeah, very, very fortunate. Even a tie with Brazil would have been huge for the Japan team.
Oh, amazing. Huge. All right, today's Replay Rewind is brought to you by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck, need a check? Just make one call. That's all, 602-977-1900. And always at lernerandrowe.com. You can always get a free consultation. Again, that's 602-977-1900. All right, just days after the draft, Phoenix flips Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal to Charlotte. They bring in Miles Bridges, 17 a night, a new power forward, a whole new look up front. Is this the move that pushes the Suns up in the standings? We'll catch up with Suns radio analyst Tim Kempton. He will join us next, right after Laz gives us a Twin Peaks Sports Center update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Sports Center update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The D-backs' offensive struggles continued over the weekend as Arizona was swept by the Tampa Bay Rays. The Snakes will now look to halt their skid as they return home to open a 3-game series against the San Francisco Giants at Chase Field. Eduardo Rodriguez will get the start for the D-backs as they look to kick the homestand off to a strong start. First pitch tonight is set for 6:40, with pregame coverage getting underway at 6 on our sister station, 98.7 FM, also streaming live on the Arizona Sports app. Nobody does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Nobody. 3 to 6 p.m., Michelob Ultra and Bud Light drafts, tequila cocktails, top shelf spirits over ice balls, local craft beers, and those famous 29-degree drafts, paired with scratch-made bites that actually satisfy. When it comes to happy hour, Twin Peaks doesn't play. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views. Bigger fields, bigger events, bigger experiences. Arizona Athletic Grounds. Arizona Athletic Grounds is a 275-acre sports and entertainment destination for athletes, fans, and families. Located in Mesa, AAG is one of the largest multi-sport complexes in the country, with over 475,000 square feet indoors and more than 150 fields and courts. From tournaments to training to cheer, dance, concerts, and corporate events, the grounds does it all. Learn more at azgrounds.com.
Head to Westworld in Scottsdale as we celebrate America's 250th birthday. The largest fireworks display in Scottsdale history and an unforgettable day of family fun, patriotism, and community pride. Enjoy the action-packed 406 rodeo with bull riding, bronc riding, wild pony races, button busting for the kids, and more. Explore the history of Scottsdale walking tour. Cheer on competitors at the 4th annual Cold Beers and Cheeseburgers Summer Slider Eating Contest Championship and the 3rd annual Water Balloon Championship. See the all-new South Hall Kids Zone, featuring kid-friendly vendors, face painters, activities, and bounce houses. And enjoy everyone's favorite backyard barbecue by M Culinary. Plus, celebrate local heroes during the 7th annual Parade of Heroes. This year, you can reserve front row fireworks seating and secure your spot before Scottsdale's largest fireworks display in history lights up the Arizona sky. Celebrate 250 years of America. Get your tickets today at scottsdaleboard.com. Produced by R Entertainment.
Game on Peoria. When it's time to eat big, drink cold, and watch every play, make it Big's American Bar and Grill in the P83 district. Big's is serving up huge portions of your favorites. Burgers, wings, nachos, plus a full bar and TVs everywhere you look. And don't miss happy hour Monday through Thursday, 3 to 6:30 p.m. with $2 off well drinks and $2 off domestic drafts, plus daily specials all week long. Bring your friends, grab a seat on the patio, and settle in for the game. Big's American Bar and Grill, where Peoria comes to play, eat, and watch.
Finding yourself skipping your self-care routine, experiencing things around you others don't, or withdrawing from friends and family. You might be experiencing first episode psychosis, or FEP. Stress, trauma, substance use, even genetics can trigger it. And if you're in your late teens to mid-20s, it's impacting you more than others. Know the signs of FEP. Go to learnmorefep.org. Sponsored by MatForce, working to build healthier communities.
Back to Wright Toyota on Frank Lloyd Wright, where the guys are live from 1 to 4. Wright Toyota, the right place, the right selection, and always the right dealership, and always open at wrighttoyota.com.
This is what we want to see. Look at Miles Bridges attack the shot blocker. Look at Miller. Oh, my word. Just walk all over.
Who was that, Laz?
That is Eric Collins, the play-by-play guy for the Hornets. but that was one of his best dunks of his career. That was actually during the bubble, so it sounds a little bit like you could tell there's no fans in the background, but it was one of Bridges' best highlights.
Like it was in a studio.
You had to go deep for that one. All right, Tim Kempton joins us to talk about the trade as the Suns land Miles Bridges for Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal. All right, Tim, first reaction to this deal yesterday. What did you think?
I was like, wow, how did that happen?
You lose 2 of your best 3-pointers, Tim. I mean, does this make Phoenix worse? I mean, when it comes to how deep they are, I mean, you need 3. You need guys to shoot, don't you?
Well, you lose a lot more than that. I mean, Grayson Allen was absolutely phenomenal. He did so many. It's easy to sit there and look at numbers and stats when you see these trades, but then you think about everything that Grayson Allen did. When he was here, he was another ball handler. He was tough. He was a guy that played a lot of different roles. He was someone that you loved having on the floor, someone you loved having in the locker room. So you lose a lot of intangibles, not only with Grayson, but with Royce O'Neal as well. And then you get to that main point of the 3-point shooting. Obviously, Kobe Bryant, it looks like they're going to give, if they don't make any more moves from this point right now, you look at Kobe Bryant and, are they expecting him to step up and play a much bigger role this year? Colin Gillespie, Jordan Goodwin, those guys' roles grow from a standpoint of 3-point shooting. But, it was a little bit of a shock when they gave up both shooters for Miles Bridges. But you look at what Miles Bridges does as a basketball player. He's pretty talented. He's got size. He adds rebounding. So a lot of things that the Suns need, but they gave up 3-point shooting to get it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Tim, you look at the starting lineup of Booker, Green, Bridges, Brooks, and Williams, and you go, well, where's that designated shooter? Like you said, the 3-point guy. Obviously, you're going to have somebody come off the bench if they get behind to try to get that instant offense. If you mentioned your Brea or whoever else, where some of the guys that won these world championships, you got 2 or 3 guys they can rely on.
Yeah. So it's definitely something that makes you think, well, they're not finished making moves. It opened up a spot on the roster with that trade. But it makes me think that they're not done yet with this situation and putting this roster together for next year.
Tim, the one thing you look at his career, the 7 years, aside from the year suspension, he averages over 70 games per year. A couple of years he played 80 games, 17 points per game, 6 rebounds per game. The one thing that I guess stands out is he's noticeably healthy to go an entire year when you look at some of the Suns guys and they're, hit and miss.
Yeah, he's a big, strong kid. There's no doubt about that. He can score inside and outside. He's athletic. He gets up and down the floor, and you heard by that highlight from Eric. He's pretty athletic too. He plays above the rim, so he's a great piece to add. But again, we're talking in today's day and age.
Yes.
Of where's the 3-point shooting? Where's the guys that create space for a guy like Bridges to go to work in the paint?
Tim Kempton joining us here, Roc and Manuch, ESPN Radio Phoenix. He could be a free agent after the season. So are we looking at a 1-year rental, or that kind of disturbs me a little bit? But maybe they're going to sign him for a long-term deal.
Well, here's the thing. You hate to bring up a guy's past, but he's got a past.
Sure.
Yeah.
You mentioned the suspension. So now it's a matter of him coming in here. Hey, Miles, you got a clean sheet. You're in Phoenix. You're with Devin Booker. You're with Jalen Green. You're with Dylan Brooks. You're with Matt Ishbia, Brian Gregory. So they're giving you an opportunity. So it's up to him to change his reputation. It takes longer than than 1 year, but that's one way to look at it. They've got 1 year on it. Miles, this is an opportunity to work with a clean sheet, a new team, make a better impression with these guys. Because if you don't, you're going to be someplace else, and now you're someone where your past and your reputation is more than hurting your career. It's defining your career, and that may be the end of it.
And I think for a lot of Suns fans out there, Tim, they're just hoping, to your point, he remains a good citizen and continue to move his life forward, that there could be a consistency with this lineup or build with this team to move it forward. And I think the expectations are to move into the playoff round versus the play-in round.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, he's 28 years old, so he fits the timeline. He's right in there with Jalen and Devin. He's a guy that's proven in the NBA. So, this could be a situation where how the Suns are trying to build this roster. It may not be, specifically for this year. They want to take a step. They want to go from the play-in to the playoff. Is it a piece to add for the next coming season when, Oklahoma City and San Antonio will have to start paying guys big money and they start losing pieces? So, there could be a lot more going on beyond the scenes than we actually know. Are they, planning on Miles Bridges for this one season? Are they planning on re-signing him and making this, making that lineup Devin Booker, Jalen Green, Miles Bridges, and someone else? And there's a shooter coming now or next year. So the talks and the intentions behind this could be something that we don't know.
Tim, can you make an argument that Grayson is better than Miles?
You can make an argument in today's day and age. You look at how the Knicks won with all their timely three-point shooting. 3-point shooting is definitely leveled the playing field from a standpoint of playing smaller lineups. So you could argue that. Grayson was a guy that gave it to you, 100%. On both ends of the floor. He was an awesome teammate, and he was an above-average three-point shooter. So in some regards, you could very, very easily argue that.
Well, he's one of those guys that I love. He could get you back into a game, or he could get you to pull away from a game. My bad thing about Grayson Allen was that instant offense. Or the other thing, too, Tim, is the fearlessness of Grayson Allen. I love that about him. What he would do, so he could get you back into the game, or he could pull away from a game by getting that instant three-point shot going.
Yeah, not only that, he was very good at being a ball handler, and he was one of those guys that would create opportunity by going to the basket. We saw him finish through contact, three-point plays that way if they tried to run him off the line. Grayson did a lot of great things. He's definitely in some ways going to be missed for a lot of those intangibles, the ball handling, the decision-making, as you said, his three-point shooting ability. So, and you throw Royce in there. Royce gets hot, and now you lose two guys from that three-point line. So I think there's a free agent signing or something that the organization is still working on to improve this roster.
You brought this up during the season last year, Tim, to get the three-point shooting going, get the Suns back in the game. And you mentioned, Gillespie, Allen, and O'Neal. So there's three guys that they had to respect. And then if they came out, you could feed it down low. And that was a hell of a combination with Gillespie and O'Neal and with Grayson Allen in there in the lineup at the same time.
Yeah, it sure was. Colin Gillespie, the Suns re-signed him. I think that bodes well for this team. That gives him confidence, going forward. I think he played, the ball handling and the shooting. So, and Jordan Goodwin. I mean, both those guys, played really well, had career years. They're going to definitely have to step up just looking at the roster right now, you expect their 3-point shooting to be something that the Suns that they count on a night in, night out basis right now. Again, I think, looking at this, I wouldn't be surprised if they make, another move or two. But right now, you look at those two guys, and those two guys are going to be counted on for their 3-point shooting to be consistent.
Tim, are Brooks and Bridges similar in play? I mean, they're both big forwards. One's a big 3, one's a big 4. Are they similar? Are they comparable to each other?
I don't think so. Miles is a hell of an athlete. I mean, when you watch someone that big do the things that he does, he runs the floor, he plays above the rim. I think he handles it, probably a little bit better than Dylan Brooks. Probably not the defender that Dylan is, but offensively, I think he's a little bit bigger, a little bit more athletic, and definitely plays above the rim, which Dylan doesn't do.
Tim, rumors out there that LeBron James, Anthony Davis, all head to maybe Golden State. Would that be something else, or that we don't need to see this?
Trying to get the band together back there at Golden State, Tim.
Well, first of all, street clothes will only be there for half the season.
Yeah.
So you don't know how, you don't know which half the season he's going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I listen. Golden State is a team that's predicated on ball movement. LeBron James, the ball gets stuck. I just don't, I don't see how that works in their system. You talk about it all the time. I'll go back to this. I thought San Antonio was the better team going into the NBA Finals. The New York Knicks played better as a group. They accepted their roles and they played their roles. You start adding that many guys to the system, it just doesn't bode well from the standpoint of guys accepting roles that are superstars, and all of a sudden you're a role player. So I don't see it happening.
Well, Tim, Reeves just got paid. Luka got paid. They were nowhere to be found in the playoffs. Here's LeBron carrying the team. He's not going to give the Lakers a hometown discount to come back and join the band, you think?
I don't know how the salary structure is. I'm not sure what his cap hit is, but that ego, no, I don't think that he does that. He's not a guy that he wants everybody else to make changes. He's not making changes for you, especially at this point of his career.
Tim, always love having you on, man. Thank you so much. Have yourself a great week.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Happy 4th of July. Be safe.
You too. Tim Kempton joining, Suns analyst, of course, former Sun. You can follow him on X at SunsTK. By the way, John Morant is heading to the Trailblazers.
Oh, is he? They made the move, huh?
Made the move. All right, when it comes to game day pizza in Arizona, Venezia's makes it easy. 7 locations across the valley. Order online at Venezias.com. All right, former Cards and Titans running back Chris Johnson revealed today on Good Morning America that he's been diagnosed with ALS. The man they called CJ2K, one of the fastest players in the league has ever seen. And he was on with Good Morning America, and Mike Strahan will tell you about more about that next. It's Roc and Manuch at Right Toyota.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball, to hockey, fights, and more, there's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Rock for RightToyota.com. At Right Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all their innovative web tools on RightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at RightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at RightToyota.com.
Lace Up Tempe, the Frank Cush Youth Foundation's 33rd annual Runnin' for the Brats is back, Saturday, October 10th at Tempe Beach Park, part of the Tempe Sister Cities Four Peaks Oktoberfest. Every step supports Lady Hawk softball, girls flag football, the Frank Cush Scholarship at ASU, and kids across our community. Sign up or volunteer at Oktoberfest.run. That's Oktoberfest.run. Give back, run, cheer. October 10th, Tempe Beach Park.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball to hockey, fights, and more, there's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Are you looking for career opportunities with great benefits and job growth? How about the chance to make an impact? What we do here at the City of Phoenix matters. 14,000 employees and counting, all dedicated to making a difference in the communities where they live, work, and play. So come join us. Help us do work that makes Phoenix work. You can see all open positions and apply at phoenix.gov/jobs. This message is sponsored by the City of Phoenix.
Social connection keeps your brain strong. So does a challenge. When you stay socially and mentally active, your mind stays engaged, and you might even lower your risk of dementia. Learn something new, pick up a hobby, or catch up with a friend. Up to 40% of dementia cases could be prevented or delayed by addressing risk factors like loneliness and inactivity of the mind. Explore alz.org/healthy habits for more tips. This message is sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association and the Arizona Department of Health Services.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B want to take you back. A quick reflection on some of the more memorable moments in sports and pop culture. Now, time for your Right Toyota on this day report. Right Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price. Right Toyota in Scottsdale.
All right, 36 years ago today, 1990, baseball saw something never seen in modern era. It hasn't been since. 2 no-hitters thrown on the very same day. First, it was in Toronto. Oakland's Dave Stewart no-hit the Blue Jays 5-0. 12 strikeouts. Not a single runner reached second base. Then a few hours later in L.A., Fernando Valenzuela dug into his old bag of tricks, and he no-hit the Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals, 6-0. Here's the kicker. Fernando had watched Dave Stewart's gem on TV in the clubhouse before his own start and reportedly said, now maybe we'll see another no-hitter. And, of course, he went out, threw it himself. It remains the only time since the 1900 that 2 no-hitters were tossed the same day. And it gave Vince Skelly one of the greatest calls. If you have a sombrero, throw it to the sky.
That's great. That's when they threw no-hitters. They completed games.
Yeah.
To have their no-hitters complete. So that's huge. That's probably going to be a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Some tough news today involving a player who spent 3 seasons here in the desert. Former Cardinal and Titans running back Chris Johnson, man known as CJ2K, revealed today on Good Morning America that he's been diagnosed with ALS. He's 40 years old, told Michael Strahan that he received the diagnosis last year, and he was speaking through a device generated from recordings of his own voice. He says there was no family history. The doctors believe it's just a sporadic case. He first noticed the weakness in his right hand, and then he says that progressed faster than he ever imagined. And the message was clear. He wants to create awareness. He wants people to know he's still him. And in his words, ALS has changed what his body can do, but hasn't changed who he is.
Yeah, I watched it this morning, Rock. The way he communicates, as you mentioned, but his eyes move along this computer of words, and that's how he translates. Interesting. His eyes will tell his voice that he recorded, as you mentioned. Crazy. And they said, usually when you sit down with the doctors, they say, hey, it may take, how many years do I have? They said years. The way this is progressing, maybe months. So they told him to get his house in order. And he said, hey, he was just being a dad, shuffling the kids around and being a retired, player. And and then just living the life with his wife. And then just randomly they talked about, sporadic, random, they want to say, no history in his family and her at all. Just very unfortunate that one of the fastest running backs I've ever seen turn the corner and take it to the house of Chris Johnson would.
Yeah, I didn't see it this morning. I just read it.
Yeah,
but I'm anxious to see that. I know he's doing some kind of clinical work.
A lot of clinical work,
and man, just thoughts and prayers for him.
Yeah, he's
such
working
a nice guy.
He's working with a lady that is works with a lot of ALS cases, and they're doing some clinical work, and they're doing some things to try to at least slow it down. And in this, the way that it's progressing rapidly, it's tough to slow it down. But it was just so interesting to hear him, not so much talk, his eyes go across his computer board and his voice come out and talk about some of the things he's doing.
One other, more of a local angle here. Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk floated a mailbag question about Arch Manning potentially refusing to play for the Cardinals.
We've seen that before. It wouldn't be the only Manning that's refused to play at a certain city.
Imagine that.
Eli refused to go to
all
San
the
Diego.
boards. All the boards have the Cardinals with the first pick.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I don't know why. I don't think. Then why would you have drafted the quarterback that they had?
Because it's not for sure. Here's a couple things. Arch Manning has hinted, the Manning family, that he may not come out this year. He might stay because more NIL money coming to him from Texas. Now, I find that hard to believe. You're going to be one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks taken. You're going to walk away with $50-some million guaranteed for your contract. So you're going to play with school one more year for $8-10 million a year. So the strategy, here's the thing.
Do you think he could make $10 million in college?
Well, they're talking about that. They're talking him coming back for one more year because of what he might make for one more year. Now, he doesn't have to. He'll be his junior year. So this year. So technically, he could come out one more year. But they said he could play, make extra money, and then to avoid, they threw that in there, avoid a team or two that he doesn't want to play for. Didn't say the Cardinals. He just said there may be some team they don't want to play for. So I went, well, this will be part due for the Manning family. Well, Eli got drafted by Chargers, didn't want to go there, and he got traded to the Giants. It could be part due again with John Elway getting drafted by the Colts. Didn't want to go to the Colts, went to Denver. So there's more to this than behind the scenes.
If the Cardinals are smart, they can leverage this. If Manning wants to be traded, say if he comes out,
sure,
he wants to be traded, the Cardinals do have the first pick. Cardinals maybe they have their quarterback.
Leverage it. Yeah, I agree.
Get 2 or 3 first-round picks.
And if they're happy with Carson Beck, I would say the same thing. Okay, let's do this. If you don't want to come here, here's what we can do. And I agree, Rock. If they like Carson Beck and they feel that he's as good or better or on par with Arch Manning, then they might do exactly that. So with the first pick, hey, we got our guy. Now, you know how it is in the first rounder. They might go that very first pick. They might say, well, you know what? They might say all that, Rock, but all of a sudden they might end up picking him, knowing he doesn't want to come there. So at that point in time, okay, who's the best trade partner to get 2 picks? You get 3 first rounders. What do you get to leverage that out? And that could very well happen. A lot to be experienced before we get to that next year's draft.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see how this all works out. I try to go to one big game a year, and I did book Texas at Tennessee. Never been to Tennessee, so going with a bunch of Yes Bowl people.
Be a good game.
Yeah, we get to see Arch, see him in
108,000 people there at the stadium. All that orange and white.
Both teams,
orange and white. You know, this Arch Manning thing's just very interesting. I mean, I read that story 2 weeks ago about him staying, and I went, well, that's all well and good, but how do you get 10 versus you get a first year of, I don't know, maybe 20 million, and you get a guarantee of let's say example of your signing bonus is $100 million. How do you turn down that kind of money to come out to play one more year at Texas? That doesn't make economic sense to me. But that was floated out there about 2 weeks ago. And I kind of debunked it because I went, he made too much money as a first pick, first, second, or third pick in the draft.
I just find that hard to believe. We get $10 million.
Sure. They're talking about
$10 million in college.
They said he could trump what Devonta made at BYU as a basketball player. You go above and beyond that. So, hey, it's Texas. Hey, look at the Campbell guy, Texas Tech, that alumnus. He's on the board. He forked over what, 15, 20, $22 million last year for that defensive line. He was going to play Sorsby this year. They're going to pay him $6 million per year. So that money's out there. But $10 million for college quarterback, they might. It's Texas, Rock. Everything's bigger in Texas.
All right, here, Right Toyota today. If you are looking for a great place for lunch tomorrow or later in the week, you can fuel up fast with lunch at the Lodge, Twin Peaks. Get 5 Valley locations. Bite into their juicy cheeseburger fries, fresh chicken Caesar salads, or if you like turkey avocado smash, sweet potato fries, it's all there at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views. All right, there's a fire sale in Memphis. It is officially complete. We will dive into that as the Grizzlies are trading arguably one of the best players in the NBA, one of the best players, into the Portland Trailblazers. We'll dive into that as well as the rumors in Golden State, and we'll continue talking about the Suns and Miles Bridges. It's all coming up from Right Toyota. It's Roc and Manuch with you today. We've got Laz back in the studios. Hour number Tuesdays.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during our 4th of July sale. Plus, get a free base with select mattress purchases. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
From the people who brought you It's the Dog Park comes.
Your dog is limping, but she seems fine. Plus, you've heard they can fake it just to get what they want. So what's the deal now? You're being gaslit.
Protect your dog from injury and illness with Progressive Pet Insurance.
Oh, now she switched legs. What a diva.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Covered subject to policy terms.
Need to feed a crowd? Let Venencia's bring the flavor to your next event. We know you have a lot of options when feeding a large group. Ordering directly from Venencia's means you get the best service and the absolute best pricing. There's no per-person fee. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll come up with a perfect plan to ensure everyone's well-fed and happy. Grad party, office celebration, family reunion. Invite Venencia's to the table. Text catering to 411-24/7. That's catering to 411-247 or Venencias.com.
Join the team at All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company and leader in roadside service. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service pros ready to grow with us. You'll enjoy state-of-the-art equipment, consistent schedules, full health benefits, a strong 401k match, employer life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Take your career to the next level. Apply today at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports, is ESPN 620. Back to Right Toyota on Frank Lloyd Wright. where the guys are live from 1 to 4. Right Toyota, the right place, the right selection, and always the right dealership, and always open at righttoyota.com.
Been a fun offseason so far in the NBA. A lot of moves. Got another one today. It's the Grizzlies are trading two-time All-Star John Morant to the Portland Trailblazers for Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. And said fire sale Memphis is officially complete. They've been getting rid of all their great players that they had since they got swept in Oklahoma City in the first round in the playoffs last year, 2025. So all their guys are all gone. And you look at Morant, he's 26. He's a career. He averages around 22, 23 points, about 7 assists. But he's played just 79 games over the last 3 seasons because of injuries as well as off-court issues, as we all know about. He had that 8-game suspension March of 2023. He had a 25-game suspension to open up the 23-24 season. He had that firearm that he displayed on Instagram, plus a 1-game team suspension last November as he got into it with his head coach. But, he's a phenomenal player.
John Morant.
I mean, yeah, maybe going to Portland will be a good change of scenery for him, and maybe he'll turn it around. But he's still got his contract. He still has 2 years, $87 million left on his deal.
Just amazing. Yeah, you see this and you look at him, to your point, only 79 games the last 3 years, and the off-court issues. They even said that he was a 24-25 season last year, only played 50 games. He was struggling with the coaching. They said he was instrumental in getting the coach fired. I mean, it's just really interesting. You watch a guy like that, and you go, okay, when will he, get healthy? When will he settle down? When will he become that guy that we saw, just a few short years ago? He was averaging close to 27 points per game and was a human highlight reel. I mean, you think about that, Rock. That's 4 or 5 years ago. But these last 3 years, he's been a guy that's just been unreliable on and off the court. Injured, okay, that happens. But just a guy that pretty much just wasn't a big mix. All of a sudden, he was a second coming down there in Memphis. And this team was going to the playoffs. They had high hopes for this team getting to promised land, i.e. the Western Conference Finals, but it never developed. So I think if you talk about a guy there's a big question mark at, it's got to be Portland Trailblazers acquiring him. And maybe the change of scenery does help him. Maybe it helps him. They got the right coaching. They've got guys around him, allow him to be himself and not screw up again.
Got a big swing brewing in the Bay as well as Draymond Green declined his $27.6 million player option this morning, according to ESPN. And that's not the end of his Warriors run, but it's opening a possible option frees up the flexibility for the Golden State Warriors to go big this week. And the talk is LeBron James and then a trade run with Anthony Davis. Davis is a Washington Wizard now after he spent the last season at Dallas. So trying to reunite LeBron and AD, you put him with Steph Curry, and, Steve Kerr will be coaching, and they'll chase one more title. The catch is that the Lakers haven't even sat down with LeBron about coming back yet, and the door's already cracked open, and the Warriors can offer him a full $15.1 million non-taxpayer mid-level exception, easy for me to say. And to land Davis, the matching money would almost certainly have to include Jimmy Butler. So,
by the way,
he's been out 4 months with ACL.
Yes, yeah.
He's got an expiring $56.8 million deal. So even though Golden State behind the scenes say they'd rather keep him, AD's at 58.4 next year, and then he goes to 62.7 option behind that. So free agency opens, I think, 3 o'clock our time tomorrow. So buckle up, man.
You think LeBron,
Steph Curry, LeBron, Davis, Green.
Yeah. Draymond comes back, refused the initial option. You sit there thinking, okay, would LeBron go somewhere for just $15 million to run it back to try to win a national championship, or stay with the Lakers? But Reeves got paid big bucks was it 2 weeks ago? And then you saw Luka, he's making the big bucks.
DeAndre opted into his Lakers deal today.
Exactly.
$8 million.
But here's the thing. If $15 million is the nut, for whether that be LeBron stays with the Lakers or goes to San Fran or Golden State. He's going to sit there and go, wait a second, folks. You know what? I basically carried the team. Reeves was hurt during the playoffs. Luka was hurt during the playoffs. I was the guy. So you got them paying big money, and you're only going to pay me $15 to some million. And we had Tim Kempton on earlier. He kind of said the same thing. You think ego gets involved with LeBron's and go, hey, look, I was the guy. I stayed healthy. I was the guy that got us through the play-in, through the playoffs, and moved us forward. So this is going to be very interesting to see what route LeBron goes if he wants to go try to win one or all, whether it be LA or Golden State, and where he has the better chance to win it all. Is it in Golden State with an aging group of guys, aging Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Butler coming off the ACL. So he's got to weigh out the logistics about where he's got the better chance to win it all.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, after this trade with Miles Bridges, they shuffled some picks. You get rid of Grayson, you get rid of Royce, O'Neal. Those are your three-pointers. All right, you re-signed Mark Williams, co-Pete in the draft. So I guess your starting five right now is Booker, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Miles Bridges, and Mark Williams, right?
Correct.
Got free agency tomorrow, 3:00. Do they go after it? Do they need a three-point shooter?
Well, I agree with the Rock guy. So where's that shooter going to come from? Now, Colin Gillespie, quite frankly, I think he even admitted he ran out of gas. But Grayson Allen was that instant offense, but he couldn't stay healthy again. So it's been, 2-3 years he was with the Suns. Something always came up. Now, I tried to come back in the play-in game, the one play-in game, and he just couldn't go with that hamstring. But I think that somebody, I don't know where you're going to get the other outstanding shooter. I know Brea is a hell of a shooter. Does he play more minutes? Does he get in there if they start to see his team start to falter, to get him in there and start shooting? But when O'Neal was hot and Gillespie and Allen were hot, that's when we saw that big surge of the Suns team the first half of the year. And that's what helped them win the 45 games, get them back into games. But when Grayson Allen was hurt and O'Neal was cold, there were how many games did we say in the fourth quarter that they pretty much they couldn't close out because those guys weren't in there, or those guys weren't able to get in there to try to close that gap or seal the deal. So I think Allen, just because of his defense, the way he shot, I hate to see him go. Royce O'Neal, not quite the heartburn, not quite the angst I have over Grayson Allen.
But, it's starting five. Pretty solid.
Pretty solid. Yeah, they are.
I mean, really solid, actually.
I mean,
Miles Bridges does help quite a bit. I mean,
sure.
if he could do the numbers he did in Charlotte, shoot, we'll take 17 all day long.
Well, they look at on average. I mean, his numbers. When you look at Royce O'Neal starting versus Royce O'Neal coming off the bench. And remember, O'Neal wasn't a constant starter. He'd start, he'd come off the bench. He'd start, come off the bench. I think you're looking at 17, 18 consistent points out of Miles Bridges on a game in a game out basis. And the thing I like about him is he's averaged over 70-plus games in the 7 years he's played. 1 year he sat out for the suspension. I like that. I like his rebounding. I just like how he can contribute 18 points, 17, 18 points per game on a consistent basis. And hopefully he can stay healthy and be that guy that'll be in the lineup the majority of the time, too. Now, we said that about Jalen Green before he got here last year, right, Rock? Yeah. Guy was solid, was playing all the time. Next thing you know, he can't start the season. He's down with the groin injury. He had a little hammy issue. So if those five guys can stay relatively healthy, I think you're pushing for 50-plus games this year to get into the playoff round.
I think the fact that the Suns, with this trade, some people like it, some people don't, but it did on paper help the Suns. Freedom Lightly, the $20 million, right? So maybe that's the kind of money they need tomorrow to get into the game, into the free agency game. The name you keep seeing out there is Colin Sexton. He averaged 15.5 points a game, 48, just almost 49% from the field. He shot 40% from the three-point land. So he could be that scoring punch that can take over for the loss of Grayson Allen.
Yeah, and the thing is how long do they sign him for? Is it a 2 or 3? And we just talked about how Miles Bridges is here for a year for now. And they could extend him at any particular point in time. But you got the $20 million. Sexton would be a hell of a shooter. I mean, he's a hell of a guy to come get. But where do you put him in there with he and Gillespie at the same time? Whose minutes would he take up?
Yeah.
That's the other side of this.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the lineup now, and I'm going, well, some of these guys are damn good players. Where are they going to get the minutes? You know, where's that? What's Jordan Ott, his staff going to do?
And Tim Kempton was talking about Brea.
Brea, hell of a shooter.
Is he ready to go?
Is he ready to go? Can he be a guy that's a consistent, or is it constant? And, you know, I think on paper, yeah, you're right, Rock. I think this looks pretty good. You feel a little more confident just because that Bridges is a regular player that can add night in and night out, not have any injury history behind him. Those are some of the things I think of.
All right, a Florida judge just put a price tag on freedom for Detroit Lions, for a Detroit Lions starter, $1 million and a list of strings attached. We got our police blotter today on a Monday. Next, Roc and Manuch, right? At Right Toyota here today on ESPN Radio.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Right Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Right Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Right Toyota. Right Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selection. I encourage you to discover the difference at Right Toyota. Make the right choice, Right Toyota, just off the 101 on Franklin Wright Boulevard, and always online at righttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out righttoyota.com.
Join the team at All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company and leader in roadside service. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service pros ready to grow with us. You'll enjoy state-of-the-art equipment, consistent schedules, full health benefits, a strong 401k match, employer life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Take your career to the next level. Apply today at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward.
Now open in North Scottsdale, it's the Orangedale Lounge. ODs, right off Thompson Peak and Bell, next to Bash's. Your new favorite dive bar has arrived. Cold drafts, chill vibes, always affordable prices, and the OD Mug Club, a one-of-a-kind membership you won't find anywhere else. No frills, just great people, ice-cold drinks, and a bar that feels like it's always been there. Follow at OD Scottsdale and get the scoop at OrangeDaleLounge.com. Orangedale Lounge. Dive in and drink up.
Cats are masters at using up their 9 lives, like chasing laser pointers into walls or jumping onto high shelves. But the one thing cats never do, text while driving. So be like a cat and protect your one and only life. Don't text and drive.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Looking for a meaningful way to engage in your community and make a difference?
Volunteer with the State Health Insurance Assistance Program, or SHIP.
We need your help to support your friends and neighbors as they enroll in Medicare for the first time.
Review plan options or troubleshoot problems with their health care.
SHIP has many volunteer opportunities. Whether it's conducting one-on-one counseling, speaking to groups, or providing office support, SHIP can find a role that's right for you.
For more information or to volunteer, visit azship.org. This project is supported by a grant from the U.S. Administration for Community Living, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Time to open the plot. The sports world's worst decisions all in one place. The arrests, the suspensions, the headlines that make you shake your head. Big names, bad calls. Here we go.
Our local police blotter today. A judge granted Detroit Lions corner, Carry-On Arnold, a $1 million bond today. Arnold, a 23-year-old first-round pick out of Alabama in 2024, has been accused of kidnapping and armed robbery. He has now been released by the Lions. Now, the backstory, the alleged backstory for the court testimony, it's about $250,000 worth of property was reportedly stolen from Arnold and his friends at an Airbnb in Largo in February. Arnold allegedly suspected his driver and the driver's hairdresser were behind it, and the prosecutors say he used his 18-year-old girlfriend's roommate to lure the targets to an apartment under what they were saying was going to be like a booty call. And the detective testified that Arnold and three friends allegedly pistol whipped and beat the hairdresser and the two others at the apartment on February 3rd, when February 1st was when this first thing was reported that everything was stolen. And now the defense, their angle is, and Arnold's attorney is arguing that there's no real evidence that Arnold was the mastermind, claiming that another man was the so-called quarterback, I like how they use that, of the incident. So he's got himself a little trouble, but doesn't matter now, as $1 million bond, and he has been released by the Lions.
Yeah, released by the Lions. I guess it's interesting to read what the judge would allow him to do if he was still playing with the Lions. He'd allow him to be under house arrest, except if he was to practice or play in games. Now, if he's found guilty and he's sentenced, this is life imprisonment that he could be sentenced for with the robbery, the assault, all these allegations, if they're true. The judge said that there's enough there to go ahead and $1 million bond to release him, as long as they took his passport, they make sure he's under house arrest. But if he had to go to Detroit before they play this, he'd be allowed to do that, but stay at his house right afterwards. So now, to your point, not going to make any difference. He's been released. But it's just interesting, if there's a potential chance of life sentence, that he'd be released. You thought he'd maybe a $2 million bond. Or he could probably put it up. I mean, with the kind of money he's making. But I mean, now it's moved point. Just this sounds a lot like, remember the OJ Las Vegas when OJ broke in there?
Yeah,
with
memorabilia.
To the memorabilia, the room in there that he went in there with a gun and he went and they had all the memorabilia. He tried to take matters in his own hand. I mean, OJ, you just got out of prison, for crying out loud. And then he went back into it. So I see this for some of these guys allegedly trying to take matters into their own hands, and as opposed to just, hey, report it to the authorities. That's my whole thing. Why didn't you report to the authorities unless there was some stuff stolen?
Yeah,
that wasn't legal, or could
$250,000 worth of stuff,
guns, drugs, cash, laundered money. I mean, it could have been an array of things.
The federal gambling probe inside the NBA just got a little bit bigger as a grand jury in New York handed out some indictments naming 6 defendants, including former NBA players Malik Beasley, Ed Davis, and an NBA agent. Now, the prosecutors allege that Beasley was with the Milwaukee Bucks during the 23-24 season, and he agreed to manipulate his own statistics, like under rebounding, not rebounding, and a bunch of other stuff. There was some winning prop bets and things like that he exchanged for money. He did for exchange for money. So the indictment says that he topped about $75,000 and upwards to $221,000. And then his teammate Davis, he basically called out Beasley, called him the gatekeeper. And then the 4 other defendants were arrested today, too. And him and his agent were not in custody, but Beasley's attorney says he'll voluntarily surrender this week, and he's maintaining that his client is innocent.
Yeah, it's interesting because you look at the backstory that he lost millions of dollars in gambling. So he was, to your point, the over-under on rebounds, if it was 3.5, he would just do 3. So there'd be a push there. So there were some shenanigans going on, and the Davis guy was kind of keeping him into, okay, here's what's going on. Here's what the bettors are saying. There's how they can get their money back. So what he's trying to do is go ahead and allegedly blow these games or under rebound or underscore or whatever, so those guys could make their money back. And the other thing, you look at the last year, he was kicked out of his apartment in Detroit. He owed back like 21 grand there. He owed money all over the place. That he had all these people that were owed money. So he was trying to just, what it sounds like to me, he's just trying to make that money back to the gamblers so they didn't, pinch him. And God only knows when you're messing with these guys, you better be careful. That's all I can say, because they can get the last laugh. Because if you don't underperform or do what they say, you're definitely going to be caught between a rock and a hard place. So it's very sad to see that we're seeing this is what, the third or fourth one over the last couple of years, Rock, where NBA players are involved. And the main reason why is because they owe money to whomever that is to try to make their gambling debts right. It's very unfortunate. These guys, again, you lose millions of dollars in gambling. Wonder if the guy's addicted and he gets too far down the road. Now he's got to make it up. And they're saying, hey, look, if you don't under rebound, underscore, we're going to pinch you, or we're going to go to the authorities, or whatever that is. You don't want to get caught in that realm.
This story's still early, but police in Florida are investigating Geno Smith for assault. And this kind of goes back to last weekend, but it's still now kind of getting some legs to it. No charges. The NFL is investigating, and independently under the personal conduct code policy that they have. But we'll see. Smith was traded back to the Jets in March. That's the team that drafted him, if you remember, in 2013. So he's kind of penciled in right now, I think,
as the starter.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what goes on here. But it involves domestic violence, allegedly, a child as well. So, but again, no charges have been filed. And but when there's smoke, right? There's fire.
And it's the ex-girlfriend. It's interesting how when the exes get involved, and there's been a couple as far as the ex-girlfriend wanting this or that. And again, allegedly, you just hope that it's just made up. And if it is true, the career for Geno Smith would be over with. But not only that, there'd be potential jail time. So it just seems as though every week. So I thought we cured this like 3 years ago with all these off-season issues. I mean, it'll never be. It might have been the 2012 year we were doing Rock in the off-season. I think we were up to like 18 incidents before training camp started. So training camp starts in 3 weeks. Report the 22nd, the Cardinals do. So, hell, Rock, we got 3 more weeks to see, hopefully, no records are broken for off-field issues with NFL players. And now we're seeing more and more gambling issues with NBA players.
Yeah, it's usually June and then early July.
Right.
We get this NFL police blotter. We had Jonathan Cooper early in June. Remember, he was arrested. He was first arrested June 4th in Colorado after a domestic dispute with his girlfriend. And then I think he got arrested, the next day again on another deal. I mean, this is just nuts. These guys just get so much trouble.
It's like either they're home doing their OTAs or mini camps, and they get home, and then they're home for 2 or 3, 4 weeks. I mean, this happened while they were with Cooper. It happened with the mini camps there at Denver. Mm-hmm. So it's very unfortunate. But when guys take free time on their hands versus occupied times at these OTAs or mini camps, these guys are for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. They're pretty dialed in. But that's why so many of these coaches in the National Football League, they always talk about it. They fret the offseason, those 3 or 4 weeks prior to training camp, that nobody screws up, everybody stays healthy, nobody gets injured, and they can make it back to training camp where they've got control of these guys. They got the supervision where any kind of issues are resolved or don't happen for training camp and hopefully through the regular season. It's just, I'll never forget that one summer we had 2 or 3 per day. But the biggest thing that sticks out in my mind is that invalid driver's license and no proof of insurance. And it's as if these guys were expecting their agents or their people, their business managers to take care of all that. It was just a lack of irresponsibility that just drove me nuts for some of these guys.
All right, to break up the blotter here, file this one under wedding week silly season. Okay, a rumor took off that Taylor Swift had bought up every flower in New York City for their wedding. 42,000 flowers, leaving nothing to no one else in Manhattan. I think it's a crime that they're doing their wedding at Madison Square Garden and shutting down the streets of New York on 4th of July.
Was it one square block they're shutting down?
What the? Seriously. I mean,
Why?
It's like, why?
How romantic is Madison Square Garden?
I don't get it.
Why not have? She's got this big, palatial place over in what's the big island off of New York City? There, a lot of the rich people go to. She's got a place there, a beautiful place. We're not having it back there in her backyard. Got the ocean right there, but they're going to have this. I guess they're having a private ceremony, and then they're going to have the big celebration in the garden. And I'm like, what?
I just don't understand it.
I don't either.
I mean, I guess it just.
You would think she'd have it in this. I don't know, even maybe over in Italy or.
I mean, I know it's the world's most famous arena. We get that.
Sure.
It's the biggest wedding of the year. But I guess they're saying that it'll be somewhere between 11 or 1,200 guests that'll be inside MSG for the ceremony itself, and then, like you said, 100 people for the little gathering. But why do it on July 4th?
Did you also see they're going to have like blinds up so people couldn't see who's coming and going out of for this wedding? So that's going to be blocked off from Joe Q Public.
Yeah,
and the paparazzi.
They have no windows, so photographers can't shoot. Right, the underground parking for the guests could come and go without the crowds, like you said. And then they had to hire private firms, NYPD, closing off the streets. And this is just.
I hope it's coming out of their pocket as far as all this extra work from the police department and all those other guys. Instead of, the New Yorkers paying for all this extra work, just, hey, cut a check to NYPD for $2 million. You can cover all the costs of the shutdown and what have you.
Stevie Nicks and Tim McGraw are reportedly going to be performing. The irony is MSG is the home of the Knicks, the Rangers. Kelsey is one of the biggest names in the NFL. And what are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, she lives downtown, so she wanted to just one of her big homes is downtown Manhattan. And for Travis Kelsey, supporting his teams, that being he's a big.
It's Cleveland.
Cleveland, big Cleveland guy. Yeah, he and his brother grew up there in Cleveland, right?
I think so.
Yeah, big Cleveland Cavaliers fan. She's a big Knicks fan, I guess. Besides being her husband.
I think he just bought into the Guardians.
Oh, did he?
Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah, okay.
I believe so. Yeah, because the Kelty brothers, they went to University of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So. All right. 3 games in Tampa, 3 losses, 4 runs total. The Bats never made the trip. They didn't get to Tampa. So D-backs are under 500, 3 back of the wild card with the deadline closing in. Are they buyers, sellers, or just stuck? Boom ski on baseball. Barry Bloom will join us next. But here's Laz with another ESPN 620 Sports Center update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Sports Center update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The D-backs' offensive struggles continued over the weekend as Arizona was swept by the Tampa Bay Rays. The Snakes will now look to halt their skid as they return home to open a 3-game set against the San Francisco Giants at Chase Field. Eduardo Rodriguez will get the start tonight for the D-backs as they look to get the homestand kicked off to a strong start. First pitch is set for 6:40 with pregame coverage getting underway at 6 on our sister station 98.7 FM, also streaming live on the Arizona Sports app. Nobody does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Nobody. 3 to 6 p.m., Michelob Ultra and Bud Light drafts, tequila cocktails, top shelf spirits over ice balls, local craft beers, and those famous 29-degree drafts, paired with scratch-made bites that actually satisfy. When it comes to happy hour, Twin Peaks doesn't play.
Happy hour is happening at Twin Peaks, Monday through Friday, 2 till 6 p.m. with reverse happy hour Sunday through Thursday, 10 till close. Plus, grab 22-ounce Michelob Ultra drafts every Thursday and Saturday, 22-ounce Bud Light drafts every Sunday, and new on Thursdays, $5 Busch Light 16-ounce aluminums. 5 Valley Twin Peak locations, cold beer, scratch-made food, and wall-to-wall sports. Twin Peaks, tell them Roc and Manuch sent ya.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection,
all at righttoyota.com.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Game on Peoria. When it's time to eat big, drink cold, and watch every play, make it Big's American Bar and Grill in the P83 district. Big's is serving up huge portions of your favorites. Burgers, wings, nachos, plus a full bar and TVs everywhere you look. And don't miss happy hour Monday through Thursday, 3 to 6:30 p.m. with $2 off well drinks and $2 off domestic drafts, plus daily specials all week long. Bring your friends, grab a seat on the patio, and settle in for the game. Big's American Bar and Grill, where Peoria comes to play, eat, and watch.
Home. It's more than a place. It's love, laughter, joy. It's where we belong.
Home is wherever you are, buddy.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you're not only giving them a home, you're finding yours too. You're finding love, laughter, and an unbelievable new best friend. Adopt your very own crypto. Visit bestfriends.org/Supergirl. And together, we will save them all.
When a heart stops, the clock starts. You are the first responder until help arrives. In that moment, 4 minutes equals brain damage. 6 minutes equals too late in an emergency. The first responder is you. We need you. Will you be ready? Learn CPR. Visit heart.org/nation. That's heart.org/nation.
Back to Right Toyota on Frank Lloyd Wright, where the guys are live from 1 to 4. Right Toyota, the right place, the right selection, and always the right dealership, and always open at righttoyota.com.
And his 2-2 pitch. Swung on that as barrel. Center field and deep. Going back is Troy. Warning track wall. 3-run blast.
Time to talk some baseball with Barry Bloom, who joins us. Boomski on baseball. How you doing there, Barry? What's happening?
Well, good. How are you guys?
Can't complain. You know where we can buy some bats? You know where a good place to buy some bats for the D-backs? I mean, their bats never showed up in Tampa, so we're hoping maybe they'll have them for San Francisco tonight. Anything you do there for us?
Old bats or some new bats?
Yeah, any bat that'll work. Any bat. Bring out the aluminums. That'd be fun. Maybe that'll help.
Maybe they could just switch bats with the Padres, and that'll help.
Oh man, they need to do something. What's your overall thoughts on Zach Gallen right now? Do you think he'll get moved at the trade deadline?
For who and why? I mean, who's going to want him? I mean, Right now, I've had these questions, and you look at the Diamondback rotation, and they don't have anybody to replace him. They've got 4 guys who are out, 4 or 5 guys who are out. You have Kelly and him as their veterans, and they're not performing. You have Fott in the minor leagues. If he was any good, he'd be in the major leagues. You have some minor leaguers down there who they can recycle through. But at this point, you just have to let Gallen work his way through it until he can't anymore. That's the problem they have. It's a shortage of starting pitching. And it's interesting that both the Padres and the D-backs have the same issue. They've got porous hitting and lack of starting pitching.
Barry, it sounds as though when you listen to yourself is that they're kind of forced to deal with Zach Gallen unless Bratt and or Cabrera can make a move, which, to be that consistent. But it's kind of sad that you're kind of forced to hang with this guy as woeful as he's been these last 4 or 5 starts.
Well, You're paying him $21 million, and you can basically figure that with some adjustments and his track record, that he's going to work it out. It's hard to believe that Zach could have lost it completely overnight because he wasn't great last year, but he still had a representative season and he was good at times. This year, he just doesn't seem to be able to find it, and I'm not sure, what the issue is. I'm not a pitching coach, and maybe that's part of the issue with the Diamondbacks too. They don't have a credible, basically experienced pitching coach.
On top of that, Barry, look at Merrill Kelly giving up I don't know how many home runs. He gave up 3 yesterday. It seems as though, he's had the propensity these last several starts to give up the deep ball. I remember at the beginning of last year, he was the reason why it looked like the Rangers wanted him. He seemed like he was the only tradable individual for the Diamondbacks, who really well his first half of the year, struggled in Texas, and continues to struggle now. So you look at Merrill Kelly's career, getting up there a little long in the tooth. He's faltering here almost last year consecutively.
He's, as you said, he's 38 years old. He is a shoulder surgery survivor. He pitched over in Korea up until the Diamondbacks picked him up 5 or 6 years ago, and he doesn't throw hard. In this day and age, hitters are attuned to calibrating for 95 mile an hour fastballs all the time. And unless you're spot on, and you look at this for both Zach and Merrill, is that unless they pinpoint their pitches in quadrants around the zone and also mix up their pitches against what they're scouted on, they're not going to be effective because they don't throw hard enough to be effective. So if you throw a pitch up in the zone that's 88 miles an hour or 92 miles an hour, the modern day hitter is just gonna clock you.
And I would hope that Soroka comes back sooner rather than later. We know Ryan Nelson could be out till September, but watching Soroka this year, Barry, what have been his main points of success before this slight injury?
I think that he's really good at moving the ball around the strike zone and mixing up his pitches. So what I was trying to tell you in the last question answer is that what pitchers who don't have dominant heat need to do is they need to set up hitters against what their plans are when they come to the plate to face them. And if you look at, good example is Yamamoto. Yamamoto has a number of different pitches, and teams scout him, and they expect him to do certain things. But what he constantly does is he pitches against what a team has done to scout him and mixes them up, and is so good at throwing pitches into particular quadrants of the plate that he's able to dominate hitters. This is how really integral that all of this has become because of the analytics, scouting, video. I mean, you go down to computerization. Everybody knows everything about everybody. And if you don't adjust to hitters, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Barry, if they sell, who would you say is the most valuable chip? I know we just talked about Gowan, if he's even movable, of course, 6+ ERA is a little tough, but who do you think is the most valuable chip right now that they could move?
Well, their most valuable chips are obviously, Marte, Perdomo, and Carroll. Yeah. And you don't want to move any of those because, they're the core of your franchise. They're still fairly young. You want to keep them for the long run. Marino's another one who you probably don't want to move.
Yeah.
So your top four hitters in the lineup are guys that you really don't want to move. And then beyond that, see, I look at it with the Diamondbacks is that there are too many nights when the bottom of the lineup from 4 or 5 down are not viable major leaguers in the lineup. And consequently, you lose a lot of games. So what happens is they're starting pitching when it's good enough to get him in 6th or 7th inning. The surprising part of the team this season has been that their bullpen combination has been good enough to get him through mostly the end of games, as opposed to last year where they just blew game after game after game. So really, to answer your question about tradable, they don't have any tradable. This is not like last year where you have the 4 guys that they moved at the trade deadline. Most of them were free agents coming up, and you were just, going to move them because you didn't think they were going to be good enough to win a wild card spot, and that turned out to be a false assumption because they wound up missing the wild card by 2 or 3 games, and if they hadn't made all those trades, they might have won a wild card. You just don't know as you're prognosticating these things.
Right.
Yeah.
Barry, you stole my thunder. I had the bottom 4. This series, the bottom half you order. 4 for 49. Friday they were 1 for 15. Saturday 1 for 16, and yesterday 2 for 18. So you nailed it. Bottom half that order, not producing at all. And then if your top half doesn't produce, there lies the losses.
Well, or you have to find another way, doing it to win. But you can't have, I'm sorry, you can't have minor league or non-professional major league players in half your lineup every day and then expect that you're going to win. And with the amount of money that this team has spent, you would think they would have enough, but they've spent money on guys who there are a lot of pitchers outstanding, or they're spending a lot of money this year who are not contributing because they're on the IL, and they're going to be probably for the rest of the year. So Corbin Burns took up burnt a lot of their salary for $210 million, and now basically they're going to be on the hook for the entire contract because Burns is not going to opt out. So they've gotten 11 starts out of Corbin Burns. So it all starts with that. You've spent $210 million on that guy. He gets hurt. You get him for 11 starts, and he's gone for the rest of last season and all of this season. And then the dominoes start to fall because you don't have enough money to stock the rest of your lineup, and you don't have enough pitching behind him to be able to succeed.
What are you working on these days? What's your next little project you got going on? You're going to talk about the Schwarber and what's his name? The 2 Harper, both going for 400. They're going to hit 400 this year, 400 home runs. They're going to, based on pace right now, to both hit 400.
Yeah, I think they're an interesting story. I've written a little bit about this going into the All-Star game in Philly. Schwarber obviously start. Harper will be, picked by the players. And in Philly, that's going to be a great combination going in there for the All-Star game. And then, I've just spent a lot of time on the Padres this year. And, I'll do something on the Mets. You think the Diamondbacks are a mess? Boy, the Giants are really a mess. And I'll do something on them this week.
Good stuff. Barry, as always, man, thanks for making some time for us today.
Anytime. I always love being with you guys.
That's Boom Ski. Love it. Barry Bloom joining us. As you got to check him out, and he writes for everybody, right?
Got a lot of great stories.
He always does. So.
Padres, talking about that. He throws a little basketball and football in there once in a while.
Chicago stuff, too.
Yeah, he does.
Hey, Vans Golf Shop, serving golfers since 1963. Unprecedented service. Custom club fitting is the cornerstone of their business throughout the Southwest, and they look forward to serving your golfing needs. All right, USA Soccer. They want to tap their guy for the 2030 World Cup. I'll tell you what that's all about next for our World Cup update brought to you by Michelob Ultra next.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
When it comes to your roof, you don't want to mess around. And Arizona homeowners and business owners have known that for over a decade. State 48 Roofing is Arizona's #1 referred roofer. Residential, commercial, they do it all. And they've been doing it right here in the Valley for over 10 years. Protect your home, protect your business. And hey, keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing. Visit state48roofing.com. or call 480-268-4509. State 48 Roofing, Arizona's most trusted roof.
Hey, it's Kevin Rowe from Lerner & Rowe, trusted across Arizona for helping injured people after serious car wrecks. And I'm Sean Forrester, managing attorney at Lerner & Rowe Law Group. We may sound alike, but Lerner & Rowe Law Group is a completely separate firm focused solely on criminal defense. We handle serious felonies, DUIs, and misdemeanors with decades of courtroom experience. If you're facing criminal charges, don't wait. Call Lerner & Rowe Law Group now at 602-977-1900.
Growth is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patios to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers deliver more air for less money. They're rust-free and backed by more than 40 years of experience keeping you cool. Available now online at Home Depot, Lowe's, and Tractor Supply. Shipped to the store or right to your door. Visit staycool-products.com. Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube. Get yours today with free shipping and beat the heat.
Every person in a crowd deserves to feel safe. After 10 lives were lost at a concert, Pink Bows Foundation stepped forward, fighting for safer venues and crowd safety training. So when you walk into a concert or cheer on your team at a big game, Pink Bows wants you to feel protected and safe in a crowd. Our focus is to help prevent another tragedy. Visit pinkbowsfoundation.org. Pink Bows Foundation. Safer events save lives.
Right in the heart of Arizona Athletic Grounds, one of the largest youth sports complexes in North America. Bristol's is the ultimate hangout for families and sports fans in Mesa. Come experience amazing double-decker cheeseburgers, award-winning wings, smoked barbecue, and fresh, craveable salads. With seating for 500, a full bar, 20 beers on tap, and over 100 TVs, happy hour Thursdays, Friday and Sunday from 4 till 6, plus trivia night every Thursday night. Bristol's, where Mesa comes to eat, watch, and win.
The U.S. is on the world stage, and there's a lot to get to. This is your World Cup soccer update, powered by Twin Peaks. 5 locations across the valley showing you every match, and Michelob Ultra pouring all summer long. Let's get you caught up.
That's about to give the ball away there. Bruno Guimaraes. Oh, and here's a chance. Martinelli. Brazil have won it. They've stolen it. Right in the depth. Brazil are going through.
Yeah, Brazil had to go into extra time to beat Japan. Japan was up 1-0 leading into the second half, and then fell apart there just at the end. But, man, wouldn't that have been something for a draw for Japan? They have 5 straight World Cups. They have not been able to get out of the first round. USA Soccer is making it clear they want their man to stay well beyond the 2026 World Cup. Of course, we're talking about Pochettino. I can't say his name. Say it. Just say it.
Pochettino.
But is it
Pochettino?
Pochettino.
See, it's a hard one to say.
Pochettino.
I know you give me a lot of crap for not being able to speak. But that's a rough one because I'm like, I have it.
Pochettino. Mauricio Pochettino.
No, see, you just do it like in English. Why do you gotta try to be Italian?
I'm Italian.
But you're not. But you don't talk Italian.
Yeah, I was over in Italy for a couple weeks.
So I've been there too. What do you want to prize?
Hey, Kisadich, how you doing, tough guy?
Anyway, according to the Athletic, the Federation has already offered him a new long-term contract that'll keep him in charge through 2030. And what a great gig that'd be.
Yeah. He's really
easy gig.
And one of the things that he's done is he's definitely done the scenario of just making sure that his team is ready to go. They like the way he manages these young guys, has all the talent and all the good things he's got going. So Pochettino, Mauricio, in the long term, I think that's one of the things.
He's Argentine.
He's from Argentina, Italian, kind of the same thing. A lot of Italians migrated over to Argentina when Mussolini took over. So they got the hell out of Italy and went down to Argentina.
I would think he's got to get past. Let's get him out. Let's get to the 16 before you give him a contract.
Well,
Extension.
this is the first time they won 2 games in a row, Rock, since 1930. So I think it's a good start for him. Love to see that.
Do you think he's earned his extension already?
Yeah, absolutely he has. Yeah. I mean, the first time in 90-some years. Are you kidding me? I mean, I think they like is the way that this team is playing. Those are some things they talked about. The way he's playing, the way organized.
What does he get paid? You have any idea what kind of money he gets?
He's on a pretty hefty contract, which we cited to him last summer knowing that he was going to be our coach for this World Cup because Greg Berhalter did a terrible job coaching the guys in the last World Cup. But I'll find out the details exactly of that contract. But it's not a small one.
I think a lot of it is as far as the players' input, what they've seen, going to the knockout round. Hope they can beat Bosnia-Herzegovina. They do that. Hell, sign the guy for the next 3 World Cups if he's still around. I mean, you look at where this team has gone, and God, you listen to all the shows and about this American team. They talk about the athleticism, the best thing they've had in years, on and on and on. But Mauricio's done a good job of putting him in the right position, right place for a lot of the things that they've done so far.
$6 million a year
as a manager for the
makes
World
3
Cup.
times what Berhalter made. Wow, how about that?
That's soccer. You think it's soccer?
And he also
baseball.
makes 3 times more than the current women's coach.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll come out somehow.
No Title IX in World Cup, Rock. You don't have to worry about that.
$6 million.
I just think that you're not really following this team. We're following Mauricio Pochettino, just what they're saying about him and his expertise and his knowledge and what he wants to do. And it's kind of funny they were commending him by not playing his top stars against Turkey in the last game. It's like, well, that's kind of common sense, I thought. Even with the guys with the 4 yellow cards, I think we all would probably not played our guys.
I think the narrative would have been pretty cool. All right, it's 3. It's 3 in a row. I mean, that's pretty cool. The Brazil guy gets $11 million. England is 5.8. So he's basically in par with USA.
on par.
Germany is 4.8. Portugal, France just under 4. So Canada 2.5. Mexico 2.5. Man, so he's getting paid pretty good.
He's getting paid real well.
He better win.
He absolutely get paid extremely well. And I think that if you get a guy that you believe in and helps bring the cohesiveness to that team, that's the kind of guy you want. And these guys are smart. They see the kind of moves that he has with the talent, what he has and what he doesn't have, and how he's managed these guys, how he's played these guys and those guys and went out and gotten the proper talent. Because I was reading he's also a big part of getting the right kind of player that fits at least where he feels his team needs to go. So when you hear all these guys talk and the strategies behind not only the game, but the kind of players he wants for so many of the team and to play the kind of game he wants, and you go back to that kind of player, it's just very interesting that there's so much more to it than we can only imagine.
So the next one is on the 1st. So that will be on Wednesday, 5 o'clock our time. It'll be on Fox. It'll be from Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. And
Bosnia-Herzegovina. Bosnia-Herzegovina.
So I don't know if you guys have seen the path. It's obviously in theory on paper. You got to go 1 game at a time. We got to beat Bosnia first. But they have a gauntlet ahead if they plan on making a run. If they beat Bosnia, they get Belgium. They beat Belgium, they get Argentina. They beat Argentina, they get France. So if they want to go on a run, they're going to have to go through all the top dogs.
That'll make it even better.
Sure. Just one at a time.
Let's just take care of Bosnia. Because I believe, from what I've read, they're a surprise team in this tournament. But they had 4 points. So we'll see.
So Laz, in the soccer community, is this a bonus getting the knockout round that if they get beat by Bosnia, that they will have done as well as they can, or will they have underperformed if they get beat by Bosnia?
I think we have underperformed. I think people are excited that they won the group, but that doesn't mean anything. I think we had an easier group than a lot of the other ones did anyways. I think if you lose here, everyone's going to be very, very underwhelmed. Anything after that, I think, is a successful run. They'll feel satisfied. But I think people want to at least get past the round of 16. Then it's like, wow, we really exceeded expectations. Otherwise, it's like, what did it matter? We still were one of the last 16 teams. That's where we usually end up anyways.
Yeah, I look at it. It's like you buy a brand new car, right? And you're like all excited about your car, and then you get on the road, like this isn't what I thought it was going to be. You're disappointed.
You didn't test drive it enough, Roc?
I haven't. I can't tell you the last time I test drove a car.
I can't either.
I just buy it. You just. But yeah, never mind. I was going to go down the road. I probably shouldn't. Anyway, so Miles Bridges is now a Phoenix Sun. And the Suns shipped out shooters Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, plus an unprotected first to land him. They got some more size, got some more athletic. Got more athleticism. They also got $20 million in tax savings, which is good, but less shooting, and you got some real off-court baggage. I mean, question is this a good basketball move or not? And I don't know. The critics were included. Some say it's good. We had Tim Kempton on the show. He wasn't overly excited about it.
He was tempered.
He was.
He was a little tempered.
You got to take the company line, so I get that. But we will dive into that next. We also have Frank Sanders will join us, too, getting a little bit more into the D-backs as well, as they got San Francisco. But we're out here at Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price, Wright Toyota. And we'll come back and we'll talk Suns next, right here on Roc Manuch with Jimmy B, right here on ESPN Radio Phoenix.
I'm Dan Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, millions of people called us for representation. Why? Because trust grows when you win, and we've won a lot. Over $30 billion and counting. When you call America's largest injury law firm, you're calling a family. You're calling an army, our army. You're calling somebody who will fight for you. Injured? Let our family fight for your family. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Arizona lawyer will handle Arizona cases. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
How's this sound? Employee pricing for all, and for all military veterans and first responders, another $1,000 in bonus cash at our Desert Ford dealers. Yep, that's how Ford is driving America forward for the next 250 years to come. Hey, Paul Calvise here. And when we go there to our Desert Ford dealers, like we did just recently, leasing a Bronco Sport for my daughter, we get American value for American values, including employee pricing. Ford has been part of America for more than a century. And once again, Ford is the #1 selling truck brand in Arizona. Take that 2026 Ford F-150 truck, better than ever. Work truck or weekend warrior. And it gets better with employee pricing across a full lineup of trucks and SUVs. And again, all military veterans and first responders, you get that additional $1,000 in bonus cash at our Desert Ford dealers. Just click buyfordnow.com. Based on S&P Global Mobility retail U.S. new vehicle registrations for the truck vehicle type CYTD October 2025.
Water is Arizona's most valuable resource. And for over a century, Phoenix has led the way in providing reliable water services. Wherever you call home in Arizona, we all share the responsibility to conserve for tomorrow. Watch your water use, especially outdoors. Consider desert-friendly landscaping and water-saving appliances. Together, small changes can make a big difference. Learn more at phoenix.gov/water and help secure Arizona's water future. This message is sponsored by the City of Phoenix Water Services Department.
The biggest soccer tournament on the planet is going on, and there's no better place to catch every match than Twin Peaks. Watch all the action on wall-to-wall TVs with ice-cold 29-degree draft beer, made from scratch food, and game day specials all tournament long. Twin Peaks is going unmatched for every match through July 19th. Cheer on Team USA or your favorite country at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. $5 locations. Phoenix, if you need a plumber, call the team that does it the right way. Victory Plumbing Arizona. It's particular plumbing for particular people, with upfront pricing before the work starts, so there's no surprises when the job's done. And here's a deal just for listeners. Tell them you heard Victory Plumbing on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, and they'll waive the service charge. For leaks, clogs, water heaters, or anything plumbing, book today at victoryplumbingarizona.com. ROC number 268603.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports. Is ESPN 620. Back to Wright Toyota on Frank Lloyd Wright, where the guys are live from 1 to 4. Wright Toyota, the right place, the right selection, and always the right dealership, and always open at WrightToyota.com.
All right, Roc and Manuch with you today here from Wright Toyota. He's a big voice guy. As busy day yesterday for the Suns as they get Miles Bridges, a 2029 first-round pick and a 2027 second. And then the Charlotte Hornets, they get Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, and Phoenix's own unprotected 2033 first-round pick. And, man, Hornets, that was a second teardown move in a week, right? I mean, you got LaMelo Ball to Minnesota. Bridges, he's 28. He's 6'7". He's on an expiring $22.8 million deal. He'll be a free agent next summer. His extension eligibility is right now, reportedly up to 3 years in that $86 to $89 million range. Last year's numbers, 17 points. What do you get? 5.8, 6 point, about 6 rebounds. He's 33% shooting. He's projected to start at power forward next to, Book and Green and Brooks and Williams. He played a lot in Charlotte. He's familiar with Mark Williams. He played with Mark Williams in Charlotte, so that's good. Hopefully they got along. But the deal also saves Phoenix about $20 million in luxury tax. It drops them from a hard capping second apron to the first apron, which I'm not going to explain because I have no clue what these aprons are all about.
Thank you, Roc. I don't either.
There's a first, there's a second. I mean, if anybody can break those down, man, I don't get it. But it opens a roster spot plus the full taxpayer mid-level exemption heading into free agency, which opens tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So Suns finally, if you look at the pros, Suns get a starting power forward. We all know they need that. He's athletic, and that's going to be good. He can run, he can finish, he can attack. They also gives him another score, 17 a night. Take that, some rebounds and some assists. He's not just a role player. He gets his own shot, and he could be a third or fourth option on this pretty stacked team. And then the Suns save money. Moving Allen and O'Neal while filling the four created, roughly about $20 million, as I mentioned. So the expiring contract is kind of an escape hatch too. He is expiring on that deal, a full year to test if it works or not. And then the cons. Unfortunately, there's some cons. He's got some off-court issues that are hard to kind of avoid. You can't talk about Bridges without it. That's why fans don't like this trade. He had some domestic issues. He'd been out of the game for a while, got suspended. It was injury. It was felony domestic violence. He was charged. He was arrested. Also, there's some child abuse in there too. He pleaded no contest. He received 3 years probation, served no jail time. The NBA did suspend him for 30 games. So that is kind of polarizing when you hear about that. I think there's a lot of fans and analysts that plainly say he's just you don't want that kind of guy on your roster, but he can help this team. And if people can get and he's we already talked about in the first hour. He's got his help, and hopefully he's going to be fine, and it's never going to be an issue again.
Yeah, there's a scar there that hopefully it's healed up, and I think that's a lot of folks. You got to give a guy a second chance to move on. It's terrible. What he did, and it's just you kind of move on, and I think the Suns have done their job to vet him where he's at emotionally, mentally, with all that. The other thing, I look at when you talk about the pros, is the guy's available, Roc. He averages over 70 games per year, played 77 games last year. Prior to that, 64 games. Prior to that, 69. Then you had the suspension. But prior to the suspension, 80 games, 66, 65, and then 80. He's available. I think that's the one thing the Suns brass likes. The guy is available. On average, 17 points per game. Went over that. The rebounding. He's strong. He's very athletic. Get up and down the court. But the guy's healthy. Knock on wood. He'll stay that way. And when you look at the Suns lineup last year, mean, Jalen Green, how long he was out until he came back, then got re-injured. And then you look at Dylan Brooks. He was out off and on there for about 2 or 3 weeks, broke the hand. And then there's Mark Williams. So you look at that and you go, wow, he might be the most consistent player as far as health-wise is concerned. Even Dylan Brooks, Devin Booker has had his times where he's down several times a year. So you look at this whole thing and you go, it's just interesting to me to see that you got Williams and Bridges, former Charlotte Hornets, and LaMelo, all gone. After last year, they make the playoffs in forever. But they pretty much have traded those guys off for basically picks is what they've done. But I look at it from the standpoint of consistency. He'll be a part of every game. He may not be the three-point shooter that everybody wants. I think there's one more move to be made to maybe find that guy. Or you play Brea even more so. He's about the only consistent three-point shooter from that standpoint. Not going to be Brooks or Green or Booker. But I look at that. I like the move from the standpoint of the size, the athleticism. He stays healthy, and I really feel he can contribute to get this team into the playoffs, if not deeper, with the kind of play that he's had on a consistent basis the last several years.
Yeah, it's going to be a wait and see for me. When I first saw it, I was not real excited about it. I just think you're losing your 2 best three-point shooters.
Yeah.
In a league that's all they do is shoot threes, and I don't know who's going to fill that void. I don't know. Brea, I don't know if that's the answer.
He's the guy.
I think free agency. Hopefully, there's some. They got to have a plan.
Yeah,
I'm sure they do.
When you watched the NBA Finals, the three-point shot was important at times, but when it came down to it, it really was going inside out. Brunson, watching this Knicks team, the three-point shooting was not that good during the finals, but they really relied on the rebounding, the big guys down low. And I think that overall, when the Suns watched the Knicks or watched San Antonio, even with Wemby at 7'4", he wasn't that much of a presence. But they really looked at those guys were physical, they were active, they got the rebounding, and not so much to rely on three-point shooting. It was kind of an anomaly that you looked at this finals and didn't see so much three-point shooting like you did the year before. OKC was hitting from everywhere in the finals versus Indiana. And Halliburton got hurt. They relied on him winning with three-point shooting. So I think at the end of the day, the Suns said, look, I think you might have hinted this. This might be a one-year audition for Miles Bridges. Expiring contract, unless they feel, hey, he's really doing us a great job. We're halfway in the year. We're having success. Maybe we extend him because we like what we're seeing. Or no harm, no foul. It didn't work out. We've got some other guys we may have to develop. But as a Suns fan, a lot of Suns fans, they're hoping this works out so they can get them to the next tier as far as playoffs are concerned.
I asked Tim Kempton in the first hour, can you make an argument that Grayson Allen is a better player than Miles Bridges? And he did. He basically felt that, if you're just looking at those two guys in this trade, I don't think he can, because the money aspect of this is a big part of it. That $20 million, that freed up a lot of money for them to get active tomorrow. And there has to be a move tomorrow.
Yeah.
There has to be.
I would agree, Rock, because they look at Grayson Allen. I really had a lot of heartburn over that. I'm like, wow. Defensively, three-point shooting, driving to the rim. When you watch him here in Phoenix the last couple of years on a full-time basis, the way he go to the rim, he just was an all-around player. But I think the injuries 2 years ago, this last year, he was nowhere to be found, unfortunately, because of the hamstring. And maybe they felt he was starting to wear down. He's getting into his late 20s, early 30s. Maybe they felt this was the time to get any kind of value out of Grayson Allen, was now to get a younger Miles Bridges, though not quite the player Grayson Allen, but just might have been a like-kind trade. And then on top of that, you get the draft pick to kind of assuage that, if you will.
I know over at 98.7, Gambo is reporting that they actually want to extend Bridges. So it's not just a rent the expiring deal. So if that is the case, and that's what he's hearing, then maybe he is a long-targeted guy that, be here for a long time. There have been rumors that they liked him before, over the years. Sure. There was years that he's the kind of role, that hole at the power forward that he can, they got bigger, they got more athletic, and that's kind of what they think they needed. But, man, you got to get some three-pointers.
You do.
There.
I'm like you, Rock. I'm like, how many times did we see they could not either maintain the lead or close out with that three-point shooter?
Yeah. Yeah.
They couldn't.
But I'm also, with these two vets, they get moved, right? That opens up some minutes, right? So Pete, we'll see what he can do. Fleming, I think we all like Fleming. We all like Ryan Dunn. So those two guys out. Now you got these three young guys that maybe will get some minutes.
Yeah, I really thought Fleming really came on. I felt that out of all the rookies, he grew exponentially more so than I think that Dunn did his first year. We saw Oso. But I really thought Fleming, who developed his shot, he really came on. And you mentioned Brea. Are they going to find that time where he's a designated shooter, the designated guy to come in there and try to get that offense? But, gosh, Grayson Allen could just go to the rim.
I think
3-point
he's
shot.
Favorite. People like them, yeah.
And he's just a hard-nosed guy that the team just had that attitude, coming in with that kind of hard-nosed attitude. There was a little bit of a change. He and Dylan Brooks bringing that kind of attitude, that kind of swagger to this team.
We love to give grades, right? We all went to school to get grades, right? But, I think if you're going to put this trade, it is gradable as, I think, an incomplete.
I would say,
I think depending on what they do in free agency.
Yeah.
I think we could give this a grade after free agency.
Sure, I agree with that, Rock. Another thing, too, is, reading some of the –
got to get a free agent card. They got to.
The pundits were talking about the draft picks. I'm like, you know what? In my mind, they're irrelevant.
I really think so. Yeah,
they're irrelevant. Right. 2033, or next year a second rounder or a first rounder. What can they do to develop to contribute now with this kind of a veteran roster? And I think that's what they're looking at, is this veteran roster growing. And you try to look at the rosters of the Knicks, look at the rosters of OKC. You see veteran players that have made their moves with free agency, especially the Knicks. All those guys were trades to get them to the championship.
All right, D-backs, they come home with their tails between their legs after getting swept by the Rays. 4 runs in 3 games. They're back under 500, 41-42. Bats went cold. The rotation got homered to death, but it wasn't all bad. We got the good, the bad, the ugly straight ahead as we talk to D-backs. Frank Sanders in 20 minutes.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. The insurance company's job is to pay you as little as possible. Our job is to get you every dollar you deserve. Call Lerner & Rowe today and let's make them pay. Call 977-1900.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selection. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patios to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers deliver more air for less money. They're rust-free and backed by more than 40 years of experience keeping you cool. Available now online at Home Depot, Lowe's, and Tractor Supply. Shipped to the store or right to your door. Visit StayCool-Products.com. Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube. Get yours today with free shipping and beat the heat.
Before you fly, take a trip to your local MVD office or authorized third-party provider with your required documents and get the new AZ Travel ID with the Gold Star for your new driver's license or ID. Starting May 2025, this new AZ Travel ID gets you through TSA security checkpoints. It's quick and easy. Think of it as your license to fly. Learn how to get your new ID at aztravelid.com. Sponsored by ADOT in partnership with the Arizona Broadcasters Association and this station.
Game on Peoria. When it's time to eat big, drink cold, and watch every play, make it Big's American Bar and Grill in the P83 district. Big Biggs is serving up huge portions of your favorites. Burgers, wings, nachos, plus a full bar and TVs everywhere you look. And don't miss happy hour Monday through Thursday, 3 to 6:30 p.m. with $2 off well drinks and $2 off domestic drafts, plus daily specials all week long. Bring your friends, grab a seat on the patio, and settle in for the game. Biggs American Bar and Grill, where Peoria comes to play, eat, and watch.
Back to Wright Toyota on Frank Lloyd Wright, where the guys are live from 1 to 4. Wright Toyota, the right place, the right selection, and always the right dealership, and always open at WrightToyota.com.
All right, two things that sank Arizona over the weekend. One, the offense went cold when they had Trapp on the bases. Right around 1 for 16 with runners in scoring position across all 3 games. 2, the rotation kept giving up the long ball. Gowan, Kelly, Cabrera, they gave up 7 dingers. How about that? And Junior, Caminero alone, he went deep in all 3 games. D-backs scored 4 total runs in the series. They put up, 9 in St. Louis just days earlier, down to 41 and 42. And they've dropped 5 of their last 7. They slid back under 500. And here we are we're basically at the midway point of the season. And, not good. Not good. I mean, you had some pros. Ketel Marte looked good. Corbin Carroll made history on Friday when he laid down a triple. Became the Diamondbacks' all-time triple leader. But a quiet weekend for him. Perdomo is swinging all right. Bullpen wasn't a problem. The relief, they did all right. They kept the guys in the games. They created some chances there, but they just couldn't get anything around. I mean, situational hitting was bad. The rotation got homered to death, as I mentioned. And, the standings stink. You're under 500. That is not good. 5 losses in your last 7. And that's not good. Not good at all. When you had a little bit of momentum with St. Louis, and then it just seems like every week it's such a roller coaster with your team. We're like, oh, hey, you guys, they're going to be buyers. Then they're going to be sellers. And it just keeps – it's a roller coaster.
Well, maybe you get a little healthy with San Francisco coming in because they're a mess for a 3-game series.
They've had their number.
Yeah, they've had their number. But then the problem is you got Milwaukee, then you're at San Diego for 4, and then you're at L.A. for 3 before the All-Star break. So if you don't at least win this series against San Francisco, you are so far behind the 8 ball. By the time the All-Star break hits, they're currently 3 games out of the wild card of 3rd place. Not 3. Just making it, but they're currently 3 games out of 3rd place of the wild card. They're 12.5 back of the dog. So I look at this and go, well, you know what? If they get to 5, 6, 7 games back of the 3rd place spot of the wild card, they're definitely. I don't know. I don't know what you do if you're Hazen August 3rd. You go, well, there's no chance of us catching a wild card. We'd have to win 20 out of 22 to even get in the hunt of the 3rd place spot of the wild card, and he's got a tough decision to make. I think he's stuck with Zach Gallen. Mel Kelly's not going anywhere. Neither one of them is tradable unless somebody says, hey, look, we'll give you this and this because we feel that Zach Gallen can help us make our run, maybe St. Louis, Chicago, or Milwaukee. Merrill Kelly right now, I don't know what kind of value he has. He has really struggled since being traded to the Rangers last year. He's not been the same guy. You just talked about it. He gave up 3 dingers yesterday. Les, if you get a chance, pull up how many dingers Kelly's given up his last 5 starts. I want to say it's like 7 or 8.
I remember about 4 weeks ago, we pulled it up. He was like 5th in Major League
Baseball. Yeah, he was.
Giving up,
and
the dinger.
And he would be good for so many innings, and then he'd give up the dinger.
Now, home runs over his last 5 starts.
That's amazing. He's a long ball pitcher. You don't want to hear that.
One, I mean,
one. Guys only going 5 or 6 innings. If he was going completing games, I'd say, well, okay, not bad. Now, the thing with Zach Gallen to see what after the rough start, he retired 15 batters in a row. It's like, where's that guy at the beginning of the game?
Yeah.
I mean, can he continue that in his next start here?
It's Wednesday
against San Francisco. You hope. So I just think right now with this team, if your top half isn't producing, Rock, you're basically done. You run it. That lower half couldn't produce runs. I mean, what I should 4 for 49 this series, the bottom half, 4 for 49. And I mean, I look at the last 3 games, 1 for 15 Friday, Saturday, 1 for 16, Sunday, 2 for 18, and they moved Arenado down to 7.
He was quiet.
I mean, he struck out with a chance with runners on bases. So he's really struggling, even though he had 6 hits coming into that game. He's really struggled as well.
All right, get right spot. You got Erod tonight. He's got a 2.27 ERA. Now the Diamondbacks are 12-4 in his 16 starts. So this is the game. You'll get this game. Well, at least you should on paper. On paper, clearly he should win this game.
Sure.
And then
Tomorrow,
I don't know who they haven't named their starter.
No, they haven't.
Yet.
I would think since Cabrera went this weekend, I might think maybe Brett comes back and gets 3, 4, 5 innings. I mean, right now, Lovello and this, coach, this pitching staff, this coaching staff, maybe you start Brett for 3 innings like we did, and then you go via the bullpen, which maybe that's the only luxury you're going to have. You could use a bullpen against this Giants team, who's just an absolute mess right now. And then, I don't know, I thought it was interesting. We had Barry Bloom on last hour. He said if Brandon Pfaadt was a major league pitcher, he'd be up right now. Because he's been down in Reno for, 3 weeks now? So what could get resolved in 3 weeks if they don't bring him up for tomorrow's start or get him back in the rotation versus Milwaukee or San Diego? I thought that was a very interesting comment.
Yeah.
That kid, if he's lost it or there's something they're not telling us, that he's not getting it together, or the scouts down there aren't seeing something they saw before, because they paid him a lot of money. They gave him what the extension was, it last year, 2 years ago? So they're on the hook for that kid. But I just thought that was a very interesting comment. At this point, I think they got to bring him up soon. I think they do.
This is an interesting note. If they can keep the ball in the park, Diamondbacks are 19-8 this season when they don't allow a home run. Of course, the rotation gave up 7 against Tampa, so that has to change. So keep the ball in the park, and they should be all right.
Well, easy to say when you're throwing sliders that aren't breaking and fastballs right down Broadway. These guys, these major league hitters, they don't miss much. And when you get guys like a Caminero who's hot, leading hitters in the league, as far as home runs in just league, then it's very tough to beat Tampa Bay teams. And Rock, I got to tell you, I was really impressed watching these guys move runners on. The 6th inning I mentioned earlier, they had 3 bunts in a row.
That's amazing.
3 drag bunts in a row, bases loaded, and the guy, if there's no outs, they were tempted like a safety squeeze. He fouled it off, so with 2 strikes, he hit a RBI deep to center field. Fortunately, they only got 1 that inning, but that was enough to beat the Diamondbacks. But just was so impressive. And they said they had done that in a series against the Yankees. They did, 3 bunts in a row, and they pretty much put a lot of pressure on that defense, which is pretty much these phenomenal drag bunts that they were having because they've got the speed. They got the speed. They can play small ball. We see Caminero and then Diaz. Got a couple of guys that can go deep on this team. Those are some of the things you take a look at. Mullins and Williamson also went deep off of Kelly. So impressive to see that, by the way, Tampa Bay is the leader in the clubhouse of the American League East as of now.
Some national news when it comes to ESPN programming. Right here on ESPN 620, the Golics are coming back. So Mike Golick is coming back to ESPN. They will be on after Unsportsmanlike, which is on in the morning, and then it goes to the Golics, and then the Rich Eisen Show. So, and then, of course, us. And then Matt Myron and Freddie and Harry are on after us, and then into the night, Amber and Ian. So, good stuff. I like Mike Golick a lot.
His son does a good job, too.
He started out here on KGME 1360, him and Bruce Jacobs. They did a really popular show, and then Mike, he took off, and same with Bruce, and Mike went on to ESPN, and, of course, Mike and Mike was one of the best sports shows for so many years.
Really enjoyed it.
And then they went on their own, and they it was reported today they signed a long-term deal with ESPN, so a multi-year agreement. And, he was 25 years with ESPN.
Yes, yeah.
And then if you remember, it was Mike and Mike, and then he teamed up with Trey Wingo, And then his son was then Golic and Wingo, and then they did their thing on DraftKings. So now they're back where they all started.
You know,
so, good stuff.
Interesting to say, used to be with. I was watching the tribute to Linda Cohn, who's retiring at ESPN, and to see all the individuals over the last 25 years, all the anchors, the sports anchors, the reporters that were with him. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about him, and I forgot about him, and all the guys that she did a lot of anchoring with. And I guess she's been in LA the last few years, and since they shut that down, and they're sending those people back to Bristol, didn't really have a spot for her, and she really didn't want to go back to Bristol. So it was nice to see that tribute they had for her the other day. It was really, I went, wow, big hockey nut, into sports, really dives, really deeps into it. So sad to see the last of the Mohicans leaving ESPN TV run.
Well, they're bringing back guys.
Yeah,
so it's good. You know, last time we saw him, Mike Golic was here for DraftKings when they the sports book over there at TPC Scottsdale. They did a groundbreaking. So we'll get Mike on the show. We'll get him on the show.
Yeah.
He's a friend of the show, so we'll.
And he's lost about 60, 70 pounds.
Good,
looking good.
Also, who always looks good is former Cardinal wideout Frank Sanders. He will join us next. But here's Laz with another Twin Peaks ESPN Radio 620 Sports Center update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Sports Center update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The D-backs' offensive struggles continued over the weekend as Arizona was swept by the Tampa Bay Rays. The Snakes will now look to halt their skid as they return home to open a 3-game series against the San Francisco Giants at Chase Field. Eduardo Rodriguez will get the start tonight for the D-backs as they look to kick off the homestand with a strong start. First pitch is set for 6:40 with pregame coverage getting underway at 6 on our sister station 98.7 FM, also streaming live on the Arizona Sports app. Nobody does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Nobody. 3 to 6 p.m., Michelob Ultra and Bud Light drafts, tequila cocktails, top shelf spirits over ice balls, local craft beers, and those famous 29-degree drafts. Pair it all with scratch-made bites that actually satisfy. When it comes to happy hour, Twin Peaks doesn't play.
Now open in North Scottsdale, it's the Orangedale Lounge. ODs, right off Thompson Peak and Bell, next to Bash's. Your new favorite dive bar has arrived. Cold drafts, chill vibes, always affordable prices, and the OD Mug Club, a one-of-a-kind membership you won't find anywhere else. No frills, just great people, ice-cold drinks, and a bar that feels like it's always been there. Follow at OD Scottsdale and get the scoop at orangedalelounge.com. Orangedale Lounge. Dive in and drink up.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Being in an auto accident is traumatic. You need to call the best law firm that has the experience to get you the best results. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
When it comes to your roof, you don't want to mess around. And Arizona homeowners and business owners have known that for over a decade. State 48 Roofing is Arizona's #1 referred roofer. Residential, commercial, they do it all. And they've been doing it right here in the Valley for over 10 years. Protect your home, protect your business. And hey, keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing. Visit state48roofing.com or call 480-268-4509. State 48 Roofing, Arizona's most trusted roof.
Bigger fields, bigger events, bigger experiences. Arizona Athletic Grounds. Arizona Athletic Grounds is a 275-acre sports and entertainment destination for athletes, fans, and families. Located in Mesa, AAG is one of the largest multi-sport complexes in the country, with over 475,000 square feet indoors and more than 150 fields and courts. From tournaments to training to cheer, dance, concerts, and corporate events, the Grounds does it all. Learn more at azgrounds.com.
Head to Westworld in Scottsdale as we celebrate America's 250th birthday. The largest fireworks display in Scottsdale history and an unforgettable day of family fun, patriotism, and community pride. Enjoy the action-packed 406 rodeo with bull riding, bronc riding, wild pony races, button busting for the kids, and more. Explore the history of Scottsdale Walking Tour. Cheer on competitors at the 4th Annual Cold Beers and Cheeseburgers Summer Slider Eating Contest Championship and the 3rd Annual Water Balloon Championship. See the all-new South Hall Kids Zone, featuring kid-friendly vendors, face painters, activities, and bounce houses. And enjoy everyone's favorite backyard barbecue by M Culinary. Plus, celebrate local heroes during the 7th Annual Parade of Heroes. This year, you can reserve front row fireworks seating and secure your spot before Scottsdale's largest fireworks display in history lights up the Arizona sky. Celebrate 250 years of America. Get your tickets today at scottsdaleboard.com. Produced by R Entertainment.
He played 8 seasons with the Arizona Cardinals. The Sandman.
It is caught. Touchdown, Auburn! Sanders got it! Touchdown, Auburn! Frank Sanders from Nix. Auburn's ahead.
Frank Sanders joins Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. right here on ESPN 620.
You know, we've been bringing on Frank for a long time.
Many years.
Why don't we have any Cardinal highlights? Why is it just the Auburn?
Because he was, I don't know, because maybe he had more highlights in Auburn than he did with the Cardinals.
Do you have more highlights for Auburn than you did with the Cardinals or the Ravens, Frank?
I just thought y'all liked the great Jim Fite's, voice instead of, some of the stuff the Cardinals voice radios at the time. No, man, I've had probably more greater highlights at Auburn University than I did over at the Arizona Cardinals.
Frank, I'll never forget your Washington Redskins game when you and Boomer were hooking up. How many dingers did you have? You like 3 or 4 touchdowns that day back in RFK?
You're not going to get me to lie. I don't know.
Well, Boomer threw for like
what year was that?
455.
What year was that? What year was he?
98, 99?
I mean, you had a breakout year. Well, it's 97, 98. I mean, you were over 1,000 yards both those years. I mean, you remember that long one you caught for 70? You remember that one?
In New York?
It was in New York that you had that one you caught for 70?
It was in New York, but it was a breakdown play, man. Look, I remember a lot of the ones that I can say that I do remember. It wasn't 100,000 of them that I can remember, but it was a good moment in New York that day. Jake had the play actually broke down. I ran like a 7-yard hitch, and then it turned to a curl route. Then it turned to a Jake scramble, which turned into a go route on the outside, and he just let it go, and I caught it and kept going.
The good old scramble drill, right, Frank?
Oh yeah, you can get a lot of yak if you catch a good quarterback that can scramble.
I'm trying to think, that Redskins game that sticks out is because I was doing the pregame and postgame shows in those days, and it's sloppy, rainy. Just you guys were on a roll. Boomer threw for like close to 500 yards, did he not?
No, he did. Like that when Boomer became my quarterback, we knew we had a veteran quarterback at the time. We had just transitioned from Dave Craig, maybe a little bit of the Kent Graham and the John Buck era, and Dave Brown, and it was kind of like a transitional in that window. You're right. And but it was, when he came in for the time that he had leadership, he had presence, and he knew what he was doing. It just so happened we caught Washington in Washington, and he got hot. And the crazy thing about it was they just kept scoring, and we stayed into almost a 2-minute offense to almost like 60% of the game, which he just kept making it happen from his veteran leadership and his quarterback play, and he just kept making plays. But a lot of guys had a lot of moments in that day. Marcus Dowdell had a great moment. Rob Moore was catching a lot of balls. Larison out of the backfield. But it was definitely a record moment for Boomer as well as the receivers that was part of that game.
And watching you and watching early in your career, you always had that confidence. You're running routes, catching the ball. At what point did you realize, Frank, that maybe a lot of young receivers need to get this in National Football League, that you could do this week in and week out?
Yeah, I think, when I got to camp, we deal with rookies on rookies, but when you get to the veterans camp, you really kind of get a good sense of, where you are and how you're transitioning in and out of cuts and breaks. And not only that, but, a lot of guys they can run good routes and they can make the breaks, but they might be dropping balls. And that in itself there's a confidence part about that you begin to lose, or it begins to seep out of you that you have the confidence to be playing at that level. I didn't have many drop balls in camp at that time. I made as many plays as I could to solidify the position on the other side of Rob Moore, who was already a Pro Bowl wide receiver. So I think there's a part when you feel like you're having your confidence is good when you're catching the ball, and not only that you're beating the defensive back. So somewhere probably week 6, 7 in my rookie season, when the veterans started calling me Frank, I started realizing that I was part of the game now, not just a guy that's still learning the game.
Yeah, week 6, man. You lost to the Giants. You had 6 receptions, 108 yards, and 2 touchdowns in that game, right? I mean, that was your game. Is there a catch that stands out, and is there one that you wish you could get back?
I got a bunch of catches that stand out.
Well,
that I thought
come on, just give me one.
I'm going to say, I'd say we were probably playing, probably one of my best catches to me. We were playing Minnesota Vikings, and I was in the slot. Were you Minnesota Vikings? Oh, Seattle. Minnesota Vikings, and I was in the slot on the left-hand side going toward the south end zone, and I ran a route against one of their cornerbacks, and he was one of their kind of best cornerbacks. And all I ran was like a 5-yard out route, Manuch, from the slot. And I gave him that little hezzy and went up the field and then broke out. The ball was thrown behind me. But I reached back and caught it with one hand and snatched it down. And then when I got my feet down and bounced, and right when I got up, Denny Green was on the sideline looking at me, clapping his hands. And then I looked right at Chris Carter, and he was clapping his hands. And that, to me, was like one of my best moments. That was like Chris Carter said, hell yeah, Frank. It was a nice catch. So, but there's no kickers that I want back. I mean, I didn't drop the ball many times in clutch situations. So it just don't really have those moments.
Okay, so Frank, let me jog your memory, because on the 1998 magnet calendar for the season we put on a refrigerator, I'll forget this, you and Jake were on that magnet calendar that you stick on your refrigerator, and it had you making a catch, great catch, and it looked like Jake running. Did you remember what catch that was, and how many of those magnet calendars did you pass out that year?
Look, if I had them, I think there's let's just back up real quick. To be on a calendar is honestly really one of the greatest things you can ask for.
Yes.
I think my first year when I got to Auburn, I looked up at one of the receivers that was there. His name was Dale Overton. He was on the calendar my freshman year. He was a senior, and I said, I want to be on the calendar of Auburn's. I want to be what Dale did. By the time I got to be my senior year, I was on that calendar. And I think there's something special about when you get a chance to be on the calendar. It means that the team picked you and respect you, and then you get an opportunity to represent your team. I don't remember that particular game that was happening at that moment, but I do think it's it is a special moment to be on the calendar of an organization.
You know how many refrigerators you were on that year for that? Yeah, I mean, you imagine
7.
You got 70, 90 plus, right?
7. Come on. Hard. 7. Well, I gave him when I saw him. We played in a golf tournament, and I was, when I moved, I had all these media guys.
Yeah.
And he was on the cover of the media guy, and I gave it to him. I mean, where is that now? Where I gave you a game program with you on it. I gave you something else. I mean, he took pictures of it. He's putting it on Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, no, Rock. That was again, like I said, man. There's
No, that's super cool, dude. I'm kidding.
You're right.
Jealous.
I know, but I'm saying just from a player standpoint, you're honored by that, man, in a lot of ways. And I think there's a part that you just kind of, some guys have to learn how to embrace those moments. And again, when you're with the Cardinals and you're not winning a whole bunch of games, sometimes you just kind of bypass those sweet and natural and beautiful moments of the game because we wasn't winning all those games, and so sometimes you just kind of take them for granted, and you're so busy trying to get the W so you can enjoy what it means to be in the NFL and winning those games. But in the reality is that when you look back, I really appreciated those Rock. They're actually at the house. I gave them to my daughters. They have them right now, and you just kind of, they put them away so they can have them for keepsake.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So Frank, so for the SEC magazine that came out, they do that whole SEC regional thing while I get you. Did you make the Lindy's SEC regional? Is Frank Sanders on there from Auburn?
Yes, sir. I was two-time All-American, Bob Hope All-American. Your boy wasn't no slap. He wasn't no slap dick when he came to playing football. Man, y'all. Yeah. my last two seasons in college were pretty special.
That's cool. You make that magazine. That's special.
Awesome. There's a rumor floating around. Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk today, in his so-called mailbox or mailbag, is tossing out that if the Cardinals have the first pick in the draft next year and Arch Manning is there, he will not play for the Cardinals. He will not play for the Cardinals. He'll do just like his uncle did and didn't go to San Diego.
Uncle Eli. Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that? If that was the case, again, it's all, it's just playing around here on summer slow.
No, I know what you mean. I agree with you on that, but I still think it's a disrespectful statement to make, even if that's on the table. Because you're getting a chance to play for an organization. You get a chance to come in and change the face of an organization. Either you believe in yourself or you don't. And having to have all the bells and whistles that make you the first round to allow you to call yourself being one of the top tier quarterbacks. The purpose of being a top tier quarterback is to prove that you can go into an organization and you can be that person of change. If you cannot, the only reason why you are the first round draft pick of a team is because that team did not play well, and they might need you to be that person. So if you don't feel because you don't like the organization, then that's a little bit more high-mindedness about the nature of the actual desire. The nature of the process of the draft, which is if you're a top player in college and the team that needs you is drafting you, they need you, so you should come in and be that guy. But if you don't, then if you got that kind of pull again to do that, then that's a Manning situation and not a Sanders situation.
Yeah, it's Frank. It's interesting that for John Elway to pull that off with the Colts and then Eli do that with the Chargers. That's something all of us growing up had never seen. It was pretty much you go where you're supposed to go, and happy to be there. But to float that out there so early now, almost 10 months prior or 11 months prior to that draft, you wonder sometimes if that's not floated out there on purpose, just to say, hey, heads up, Cardinals, if you do have the first pick, we have no intention of coming. Just to put it out there in the atmosphere.
No, I agree with you on that. And the Cardinals can play with that from a real, PR situation and be like, well, thank God, because we don't want anybody like that. And so they can play with that too and really be a slap in his face. But more importantly, he has to still go out and prove that he can play on college and be a dominant player in college. And he hasn't done that yet. And so to me, I still think there's a lot more he needs to prove that he can be on that level. It wasn't like the top Manning to ever play football is Peyton. Everyone else is coming along trying to reach that level. And if you don't have that kind of conversation, then we're still waiting on you to develop.
Frank, what do we learn today? Anything? This is
that he's a dude. He was a dude when he played. Making covers of magazines and whatnot.
Not a calendars
and magazines.
Goals to get on a calendar.
He made the SEC Lindy's regional. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, there was one person from Auburn, one person from Alabama, one person. It just huge.
I made the Big 8 regional for the Big 8.
Oh, Big 8 there.
That's saying much, Frank.
Man, all that stuff is I say it so respectfully out of my career. My first 2 years in college, I lost. My last 2 years, we won. Come to the Cardinals, my rookie year, I won Rookie Wide Receiver of the Year, but we struggled to kind of get over that hump in winning. And some of that stuff, you just kind of, I'm so, you get so team-minded of trying to get those W's. And the most important thing about the NFL or any collegiate level, Manuch knows, man, when you win, everything is right with the world.
Oh.
There's nothing wrong with the world. Even if it was a terrible day, 3 interceptions, you can overcome that when you win. And 2 drops, you can overcome that with the wide receiver when you win. When you lose, it is one of the worst feelings. So you don't really get to appreciate all those things. Humbly, I say all those things, man. But, it's like I need my quarterback to be good. I need my receivers to be on the other side doing the job. And you need everyone to do their job in order to be successful. No guy in football by himself, except Roc when he was in Little League, could have been there. Could have been that guy. And right, could have been that guy. And so
Where's
we
little-
all are
put him
still
in
learning
right.
how to be teammates.
Where's that little Mikey Morocco? We're going to put him today.
We're going to put him in right. He's going to be in right. No, my dad was a coach, so I got to play second.
There it is, Frank.
There
it is.
Now we know.
Yep, I mean, hey, I'm transparent, It's what happened.
Daddy ball.
Yeah.
Daddy
I'm
ball.
Like, hey, put me,
Oh, my
I was a coach, so it's good. So, Frank, as always, buddy.
Thanks,
Thank you, man.
Frank.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brothers. Man.
I can't even believe you didn't even throw me a happy birthday today, Frank.
Okay.
Man,
Rock,
Frank,
it's
I
your
thought we were
birthday.
tight.
Happy
No,
birthday,
whatever.
Rock.
We got to go.
Oh,
We
man.
gotta go.
You know what?
No. Jake's on the other line. We got to go. All right, buddy.
Okay.
See you, Frank. That's Frank Sanders joining us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B here out of Wright Toyota. And Frank's presented by All City Towing. Arizona's largest towing company. They're hiring drivers, dispatchers, customer service pros. They got great pay, benefits, and all. You get the monthly fuel allowance as well. So you can apply today online. Just go to allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward. All right, we got our learner row. One call, that's all. It's Tim Kempton on the Bridges trade. That is next. It's Roc and Manuch right here from Wright Toyota.
We get it. A meal shouldn't cost you nearly $20. And we agree. At Venezia's Pizzeria, lunch or dinner for under $10 is still a thing. And for an even sweeter deal, stop in and grab a Slice Rewards card. Get a stamp for every qualifying Slice special. 10 visits, 1 free qualifying special. Simple. And every Tuesday, we double your stamps. That's your free pizza twice as fast. Venezia's Pizzeria, a family tradition with great rewards.
When tragedy strikes, the impact is immediate and devastating. That's when the 100 Club of Arizona steps in, providing financial assistance, guidance, and emotional support to the families of public safety officers injured or killed in the line of duty. They also invest in mental health resources, injury prevention, and scholarships for the children of first responders. Every day, Arizona's public safety professionals put their lives on the line. The 100 Club of Arizona has their back. Learn more at 100club.org.
Join the team at All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company and leader in roadside service. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service pros ready to grow with us. You'll enjoy state-of-the-art equipment, consistent schedules, full health benefits, a strong 401k match, employer life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Take your career to the next level. Apply today at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball to hockey, fights, and more, there's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Action! When I grow up, I want to be a director because they get to talk to everybody about everything. They get to make cool movies and dance music videos.
If your child is sick over and over again, it could be PI, a defect of the immune system that affects millions. Early testing can give children a chance to dream.
And when I'm a director, I get to say, lights, camera, action.
For more information, visit the Jeffrey Modell Foundation at info4pi.org.
That's a wrap.
It's the Lerner and Rowe one call, that's all call of the day. If you're looking for a full service law firm, just make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a shock though when they gave up both shooters for Miles Bridges. But you look at what Miles Bridges does as a basketball player. He's pretty talented. He's got size. He has rebounding. So a lot of things that the Suns need, but they gave up 3-point shooting to get it.
That's Tim Kempton talking about the Bridges trade. It's kind of lukewarm on it. You know, he wasn't all in on it, not against it. He's just going to maybe see how it plays out. I think we all are anticipating another move, and that could be with free agency that starts tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So we appreciate Tim joining us. Interact, need a check. Make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900. Our Learner Row one call of the day. D-backs in the San Francisco Giants will get going tonight down there at Chase. You'll be able to listen to that game on the mothership 98.7 Arizona Sports. That's what's on tap, brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light, the official partner of Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B at all 5 Twin Peaks locations. I didn't know about this Phil Mickelson thing.
Yeah.
I missed that over the weekend.
Yeah,
celebrating too much, I guess.
Yeah, the goods came out on Phil. It's all I saw that initially from the K-State crew had it, and then I saw it online and went, oh my goodness gracious, Phil. So maybe that's why we haven't seen Phil out on the golf course lately. Some of the indiscrepancies he's had with some women that weren't his wife. That's out there allegedly, and some other issues that are out there because it has not been good, Rock. It's one of those things. Oh my goodness! And I guess this has been something that's been going on for a while. He's had a little bit of a past these last couple of years, and there's some things that they're saying that he needs to go get, kind of like the Tiger situation in a whole different realm. And you go online, I don't have to explain it to you, but it was a lot of indiscrepancies that involved other women that weren't his wife. One in particular, Pat Perez being his ex-wife. So there was some serious talk about junk in the trunk, Rock. That is there.
No pun intended there.
Yeah,
dude.
really, I know.
Nice
That
so
Phil Mickelson dealing with.
Phil Mickelson, so he showed me a photo of his junk. All right,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, there you go. I
Ex-wife,
need to pick up on that there.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Phil needs to pretty much shut it down for a while, I imagine. And there was a lot of question marks about why he wasn't participating in the Open. Never won the Open, or in this and that. And he's been kind of out of the limelight. He's been on the kind of like on the sidelines of golf for tournaments in a lot of different areas. A lot of advertisers have dropped him or have not pursued him. And there's just been some big question marks. And this thing hit a couple weeks ago at his very exclusive club in San Diego that he's a member of, that allegedly that he said some things or did some things. We don't know who it was with, but once that came out, was reported back to the club members, they took down all of the paraphernalia, photos, or everything off the club of Phil Mickelson, and then excommunicated him or moved him out or dropped him as a member of this particular club.
Just quickly just reading, this on TMZ Sports. It's happened in 2015.
Yeah.
11 years ago.
Yeah. But there's been some other things that recently have happened, like with the club. The recent thing here at the club has been one of those things. So there's been a lot of things that have added up that have come to light. And this one, the latest one with his club in San Diego, was a recent one.
The Bills are in the news. They're moving into a new stadium, and they have decided they are going to move on the O.J. Simpson legacy behind, and they're not going to.
Rightfully so.
Not going to do anything there.
I think that they're going to.
He wasn't guilty.
Well, he was. Yeah, right. Yeah, he was on the Ring of Honor in the old. I call it the old Rich Stadium, where I played, or Mr. Wilson Stadium, and he will not be in the Ring of Honor at the new stadium, which just opened up last week. The Pagula family, a lot of the guys were there. I saw a few photos. Jim Kelly was there. We reported that Jim has been on the down low. He suffered a stroke back in March. He's finally up to speed. So there's quite a few guys that were there. But I commend the Pagula family. They're not going to acknowledge OJ anywhere in the stadium, anywhere at the records, et cetera, et cetera.
It's hard to just,
I know it is.
First NFL player to the top 2,000 yards, right? And 9
is.
years with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Now, what they are doing, which is smart, they're not calling it a Wall of Fame, a family circle. They're calling it a family circle.
So that's the new name's going to be the family
circle. Right in front of the new stadium.
Rock, a $2.1 billion stadium without a retractable roof. Now, It does have like the old Dallas Cowboys.
It's called Highmark Stadium.
Highmark Stadium. So they do have like a lot of you fans remember the old Dallas Cowboys Stadium. The top of the stadium would come to like where the field was, and then they never closed it. They never closed it. And that's where the Buffalo Bills' new stadium will be. Is they'll cover the stands, but they'll leave a big opening there for the sunshine, what sunshine they get. And maybe the wind won't be quite as bad, but if that comes down in the stadium, it'll swirl just a little bit. But the ends are closed, unlike SoFi that's got a roof, but they got the open panels. They can do that. So it's $2.1 billion without a roof.
So it's called Highmark Stadium, which is everybody's calling it that, but the full name is Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield Stadium. So that's unfortunate that everybody I'm sure out there in New York, northern New York knows what Highmark is, but when everybody's calling it, not even saying Blue Cross Blue Shield, feel sorry for the sponsor.
Yeah,
I mean they spent all that money on the naming rights, and you don't know it's Blue Cross Blue Shield. I had to Google what's Highmark. I had no idea what it was.
Yeah, I
Is it
didn't
an insurance company? Is it
Speaking of
private equity
sponsors, just named this morning that Oklahoma State University just had I forget the reservation hotel, big reservation hotel that's going to be on their patches for the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Patches are the new thing.
Jersey.
You're going to see lots of patches this year in college football. A ton of it.
Hey, Rock, tomorrow we'll catch up with Damon Bruce from San Francisco.
Nice.
And get his thoughts on Giants, Golden State, and the Niners. Dan Feldman from the NBA reporter, and then Bobby Mack, and trying to track down a soccer aficionado or two for tomorrow's show.
Hey, if you missed anything, just download the Arizona Sports app. You can go to rocmanuch.com as well. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on YouTube. Please subscribe. We appreciate it. But good job, lads, today. Nice job. We'll
Happy birthday, Rock. You better celebrate tonight.
Rock.
Split the G a couple times.
No, I did yesterday, man. I shouldn't even be here right now.
Attaboy.
I'm in a cloud.
Hey, lads, he's actually an athlete. He sucked it up.
Yeah.
He made it through.
No aspirin, nothing. No headaches.
We gonna party like this.
There it is. Good stuff. All right, we'll see you back here tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid.